No, because we're not very
No,
good at keeping up with the news. Unless you're
no,
aiming for ironic.
that's the joke. No, that's the joke.
Oh, okay, so you're aiming for
Is
ironic
that it's
then.
a weekly show, but we're saying it's breaking news.
Okay, I get it. I get it. Breaking News Weekly. For
Is
ironic
that
then.
it's a
Yeah, it's,
weekly show?
although I
but we're
guess that
saying
is, just
Alright, we are
Okay, I'm thinking
live.
John Oliver has the last week tonight or whatever the fucking name
Oh,
of his show
yeah.
is, which is kind of that same joke, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be on Rumble. It's just, for some reason, it's such a pain in the ass to sign up for them. It's not like the simple just put in your email thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, they definitely there's potential, but they definitely have fucking issues.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out because I have a Rumble account because I've been following a few people on Rumble lately. Because like Alex Jones is over there, and then who's this guy that I've been watching? Glenn Greenwald, who seems to be pretty reasonably middle. Like he's not all
Was he on
excitable.
Fox? Oh no, that's Greg Gutfeld. Never mind.
No. He was an ex-news
Alliteration.
guy. He did do news similar to like Gutfield though, but he's more of a like this is very reasonable. Like here's what's going on. Here's the background information. Here's why it would be illegal, or here's what would be the problem with this or that or the other thing. But it's all very like relaxed and calm and not like, and the world's ending. And demons are pouring out of the sky. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's always nice.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
let's see.
I'd like to see what Tucker's gonna choose to do.
I want a show with Tucker and Joe Rogan going out and doing all the ayahuasca and stuff that Joe Rogan does.
Yeah,
But Tucker Carlson is doing it too. I'd love to see what happens when he gets fucking his third eye opened by some hardcore drugs.
yeah, they should bring portable fucking sensory deprivation tanks and just be high as
and
fuck.
act like that's the kind of thing
All the
that
time.
everyone can just afford and use whenever they want to.
Yeah, just
That's always been one of Joe
fuck
Rogan's
your
faults,
portable
though.
fucking
His
sensory deprivation tanks.
he treats the world like they all have a whole fuck ton of fuck you money like he does. Because he's Joe Rogan's rich. Like he's not. I mean, he's not fucking, Bill Gates or Jeffrey Bezos rich, but he's probably got a few million in the bank.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
If not in
he's been the
investments
fucking
and
top podcaster
properties
for
and stuff
years,
like that
dude.
too, I'm sure, because he's not a stupid man.
Yeah. Well, dude, the Spotify deal alone was what? Fucking, how much did he make? Like 100 million or something?
Well, but you also got to count. I'm sure that whatever the budget for running and producing his show comes out of that, and he's probably got at least a team of 5 to 10 people that run that. It was him and Jamie for a really long time that you saw,
Right.
but there's probably 3 or 4 people behind scenes even then, because they put it on they were putting on all these different platforms for the longest time and all that other shit, and changing it into I mean who knows how many
Yeah, he's still doing it. Yeah, he's again not fucking billionaire or anything, but yeah, he's very very comfortable. I'm sure.
Yeah. He treats the world like they've all got money like him, and it's like, yo, dude, nobody can afford the shit you can afford, homie.
Yeah.
He's a little more on the ball when it comes to
Louis CK
recognizing
got made fun of
poverty,
him.
but not by a lot.
Remember that? Did you ever see that clip of when Louis CK was on with him? Where because
Oh no, I don't think I did. I would. I haven't watched him in so long. Joe Rogan, I haven't, because I'm not on whatever garbage service he's on.
yeah, I'll have to try to find it because Louis CK kind of lays into him a little bit because Rogan was talking about how everybody's complaining oh, you just do that because you're rich and you can able to do that, and then I forgot
well,
what they were
you
talking
are.
about, but Louis CK was well, it's an absurd conversation to have.
Yeah.
Most of your viewers are not going to fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not going to have the money to do what
So
you're talking about,
it's a
yeah.
ridiculous thing to suggest to people.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
just have
remember
fucking
Louis
your
C.K.
own
grew up in
gym.
Mexico. He's Mexican, so he's seen
Yeah.
like the worst it can get as far as poverty. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, he was born in Mexico, but he moved when he was pretty young, dude.
Yeah, but he just you still remember the shit you see even when you're that young. When it's like that
Yeah.
extreme, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it took him. I mean, he was, pretty old by the time he kind of, became really famous. I mean, he was a comic
Yeah.
for a long time too.
So
So, you know what I
he's also
mean?
experienced being on that downside of not having any money to do anything with for a lot too. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he got canceled and fucking whatever.
Oh
So yeah.
man. Yeah. Oh, I saw. I'm watching
So
this
yeah, he's
fucking.
definitely gotten perspective. He's had humility kind of thrust upon him, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He got fucked over with the Me Too thing, which was still weird because he was like, "This is my hotel room, and I'm going to masturbate now. Please leave." And
Yeah.
they fucking
Yeah.
didn't. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm
No,
still
it
gonna
was.
do it. Like, I'm not gonna stop. I told you guys to leave for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. They had fair fucking warning. They stuck around, and
And they
then.
stuck around and
Well,
watched.
yeah. Yeah, and like even Sarah Silverman like was kind of like, well, yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, like she didn't give a shit.
You know, and
It
when
was one of the
Sarah
few
Silverman's
times she
willing to
wasn't
just
an
be like, "Pff, whatever, like no big deal," you gotta be like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah,
maybe this other
considering what
person
a
should shut the
fucking
fuck up.
yeah virtue signaling cunt she is in almost every situation now in the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Should probably carry some weight.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the shitty thing is that you get caught up in like the real ones with the Louis C.K. ones. He gets caught up because that other guy was such a piece of shit. The producer or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what his name was, but it was one of the producers that everybody was like, "Oh, this guy made everybody fuck him in order to get roles and stuff."
Oh, Weinstein.
Yeah, Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, he made everybody get involved in some weird sex shit so he could fucking get off while they were making their movies and stuff.
Yeah. Got Jennifer Lawrence an Oscar, dude. She should probably quit bitching.
Yeah, she got the better end of that deal. I've seen her. I've seen him.
Yeah.
She's somebody that apparently everybody hates. Like before that, like that everybody was in movies and stuff with her. Like, because like she's the one that the whole Johnny Depp thing blew up around, right?
Amber Heard.
Oh, Amber Heard. Never mind. I thought it was Amber Heard. Is it because you could see like visibly how uncomfortable her like co-stars were with her in like interviews with Amber Heard, where they were just like, "I fucking hate this." You could just see the hate. So was it Jennifer?
Yeah. No, I was.
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence made that ridiculous unicorn
that
movie.
Was, Amber Heard. I don't remember seeing her a whole lot with her co-stars.
Oh yeah, no. Go watch some of the interviews where she's in films. It's fucking crazy.
Okay. Okay. You're not thinking of Brie Larson? Because there's a lot of footage of that.
There's that too, but I mean, you can see it with the Amber Heard footage too. Like when it's like her and like the Aquaman dude or other people from the movie, and they're trying to sell the fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
looks uncomfortable around her. Like nobody looks like they're
I'm not
real happy to be
surprised.
there with her.
Yeah. No, she's a fucking psychotic, for sure.
There's
So it's not
there's a lot of people like that in Hollywood. I would imagine, though, to be honest.
Yeah. 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 It's not surprising. There's a lot of fucking narcissism running around fucking Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because Hollywood caters to fucking narcissism, yeah, so badly.
Yeah.
I mean, they have that once a year, everybody gets a shiny piece of fucking metal award show.
Yeah. Dude, that is. Oh my god.
All right, let's get all these rich people together, and we're gonna give each other trophies. We're gonna give each other let's pretend trophies.
Yeah, and talk about how important our work is to fucking humanity.
Yeah. God damn. And you know what's interesting is in other countries, the people who do the entertainment and stuff really don't make much money. Like if you look in like a lot of the like Japan and Asia and all those countries around that kind of like
Yeah.
culture.
Oh, like boy bands and girl bands especially get like
Also, but
nothing
actors
hardly.
on TV, models, none of them make very much money. They all make about the same as you would make, just at a decent job.
Yeah,
So
it's
like,
pretty fucked up.
if you got a good job in the U.S., I'd say right now, and you were like firmly in middle class, you'd be making what 70K a year, 80K a year at least to be out of
Right.
the poverty. Because I think below 50K at this point is basically the poverty level.
Yeah, yeah. With inflation, fucking A,
Yeah,
dude.
it's insane.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, you'd have to be making like 80K or something to be even with like the middle class. That's about what they would be in the range of salary wise on average.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though the
Probably
money
like
they're bringing in is
50K in North
way more than
California
that.
or Manhattan.
Yeah, the money they're bringing in is way more than that. They're bringing in way more money than they're getting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, man.
Yep. But and there are like a lot of people who are like looking at that now and looking at the other models and saying like, what are we gonna do to fix this? How do we rebalance this so that the actors and the singers and the songwriters and the actual artists are getting the money for what they do? So there is a push
Yeah,
for
that's
that, but it's
fucked up.
they're such like backwards countries as far as like
Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, early Hollywood, where they just had people sign to these multi fucking film deals.
yeah,
They
where it's
weren't
like
getting
you
shit.
and your next 6 generations belong to us. Here's
Yeah.
$10,000. Go party it up for a
Yeah.
fucking weekend. We'll put you in another film when we're ready for you, you fucking animal. Like,
Yeah. Like
the way they
fucking
used
yeah.
to do
Well,
that shit.
Elvis's deals were apparently like that Colonel Tom Parker guy took like way fucking huge cut
Oh
of
yeah,
his
way
money,
more than
although he paid
15%.
so
I'm
much that
sure.
he was still fucking rich. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of that going around back then.
Well, he was padding his bets because he was like, sooner or later this guy's gonna die in a toilet. I know it.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns out you can't constantly eat fried banana sandwiches and fucking live a long life.
Oh,
And
it's
have the,
banana. It
you
was
know,
banana, peanut butter, and bacon.
yeah, yeah, something fucking crazy.
The one I saw somebody make that was supposed to be the accurate to Elvis one. They took a whole loaf of French bread, like a French bread loaf, a big fat one, dug out a
Mm.
channel in the bottom half of it, like just tore the bread out and like got rid of it, replaced that with peanut butter. So there was probably like 3 or 4 cups of peanut butter in this sandwich. And then
Jesus
they put
Christ,
like I
dude.
think one banana sliced up all over the whole thing, and then like 6 strips of bacon in there, and
Bacon.
then like scooped a little channel on the top out for some jelly. And it was like another cup of jelly or something. It was a ridiculous amount of fucking stuff. Like you would look at that and be like, that's more than you need to eat in your whole life. Like I like a big
A
old
week's worth of calories, dude. Yeah.
yeah, I like a big old meatball marinara sub, and just recently I found out that you can take the mozzarella cheese out of that and replace it with cheese sticks, mozzarella cheese sticks that you bake in the oven.
All right.
And that's really fucking good, but you can't do that every day. That's just not. You can't have a big old like foot long mozzarella meatball marinara sub every single day. Well, you can, just not for very long.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was like,
Again, does not lead to a long, healthy life.
yeah, like after this vacation is over, when I'm back at work on Sunday night, I'm gonna be like Sunday. I'm just gonna be like, all right, it's back to like there's gonna be no more sugared snacks and stuff. Gotta cut off the sugar for a while.
Yeah, and vacation. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying myself on my vacation and my birthday. And I only usually take like one vacation a year, maybe sometimes two.
Oh shit, your birthday was last week. Sorry, man. Happy birthday.
Oh
I keep
yeah,
forgetting the 420
I'm
thing, dude.
43. It's such an important year for me.
All right. Yeah, still, I could have fucking known.
No, I appreciate it. I just like I mean, I'm so old now. It's like yeah, it's my birthday, whatever.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
getting
after
some
21.
cake, some nice food, and hanging out and not having to work. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, after 21, they're all pretty fucking meaningless.
Right? Yeah, it really is. Unless you're really, really waiting to rent cars for some reason.
Yeah, then you gotta wait to 25, I guess. But
I think you could rent them before 25, but you just have to pay a lot more. And it's more for the insurance or something. Like it used to be you couldn't rent them at all, I think, but now I think you can. Because when we were turning 21, I don't think you could rent a car until you were 25. Like they just wouldn't let you do it. And then, but now I'm pretty sure you can. It just costs way more money.
Yeah, that definitely fucking seems odd, dude.
I think it's insurance. So they're like basically, they're looking at, yeah, you're going to borrow this car for a weekend, but people under 25 are so, like, have accidents so much more often than people after 25 that there's just way more chance we're not going to get this car back. And that we're going to lose money on this deal because of, you wreck the car or something.
Yeah, but if you have insurance, your insurance, I mean...
But not every driver rents the car gets insurance. Like, I don't think it should be legal to rent the car without the insurance.
If you have insurance already, if you're insured already, you don't need to buy the insurance from them. You're covered driving other vehicles. So you'd be covered driving a fucking... Your insurance on your car already covers you driving.
That's not how it works for mine.
They're fucking you over then, dude.
My car is insured for me to drive and for my mom and my brother to drive, specifically.
What do you have, Mercury or fucking 21st Century or whatever AIG became?
It was New York Mutual, or...
There's not... Dude,
That's the way car insurance works here. You insure the car you're driving. You don't insure yourself.
Yeah, no. The way it works with fucking most major companies is you're going to be covered driving any other vehicle on a temporary.
Oh, Liberty Mutual. That's who I'm with.
I can guarantee you that you're covered by other fucking driving other vehicles.
For rental vehicles, I thought that was a different thing. Like it was like.
No. Yeah, considering Liberty
it's like,
Mutual, the company that I worked for 5 years, I can tell you that you would be covered driving.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was similar to if you're driving Uber or DoorDash. If you have regular insurance, they won't cover it. You have to have special insurance for it.
If you're doing something commercial, you do. But
yeah.
For a rental car, no, your insurance covers you driving the rental.
Yeah, I thought rental car was just like a different type of vehicle entirely, like classified.
No, if you're driving like a friend's car and they didn't have insurance and you have insurance, you'd be covered by your insurance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I also made sure, because I'm in California, to get like uninsured motorist and if somebody hits and runs insurance.
Oh, yeah.
So like if I get,
Yeah, I forget if California is just bodily injury or if it's property damage too for uninsured. Like in Arizona, it's only bodily injury. It doesn't cover uninsured motorist property damage. Like it's some states cover both. Some states only cover bodily injury. Like medical expenses or whatever.
I paid to make sure it was like bodily injury and vehicle replacement. I paid extra for it.
Yeah, I forget because again, it's about half and half. Like half the states.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't know what they required. This was extra. Like,
yeah.
I had, like, the required insurance package, and they were like, here's other things you can add. And I'm like, I would like to add uninsured motorist, full coverage. So if I get hit by somebody who's not insured or whatever, I get my car replaced and all the medical bills are paid. No question. For me and my passengers.
California, I'm pretty sure, was one of the ones that does property damage as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure if you pay for it, you can get it in any state.
No.
Like if you pay the extra money for it?
No. No, in Arizona, it's only bodily injury.
So you can't pay them like an extra amount per month to get on top?
It's not available.
Oh, wow,
Insurance has laws that are specific to each state.
That's really bizarre. Like you would think you'd be able to pay for that. Like, what's the harm in that? Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just like,
I understand it's not up to to the insurance company.
No, I know it's not. I'm just looking. Where's the harm though? Like, what is
directly.
the state protecting the consumer from?
Yeah,
What's the?
I have no idea. What's
Yeah, it's such a weird one because,
Like I
like,
said, it's
oh
about half and
no,
half.
you might be able to pay extra money that you don't have to pay in order to get something you want that they're happy to sell you that nobody gets hurt from.
Yeah,
Better stop
you'd have
that
to look
shit.
into
No,
stuff
we don't want
like
that.
statewide, but I don't know if anybody's actually looking into it all that closely. But yeah,
Yeah, I just specifically
the
was like
insurance shit is very, very different for, or can be, I should say.
between states. I'm sure there's some states that are
yeah.
like really similar and some states that aren't. Yeah.
Yeah, like Michigan's really odd because it's a no fault state where you pay insurance, but like any claims go through your insurance, no matter who's at fault or whatever. Yeah, Michigan's a really strange one.
Well, what is it? I forget what state it is, but like, there's a state where if you spend more than like 10 days consecutively there, you have to pay like registration dues on their roads.
Oh yeah, Massachusetts, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Massachusetts. We were talking about it before. I was like, so that'd be a good example of like wacky state fucking laws about cars.
Yeah,
Just
Massachusetts
random as
is a little
fuck.
weird. Yeah, their insurance is a little weird too because the rates are set essentially by the state.
Oh, you got to pay your insurance rates set by the state, and then you also got to pay the
Yeah,
governor's
it's not.
birthday fee on top of that with your car. And
Well, I mean, like,
because
there's no
because
difference-
Massachusetts just
there's
wants
no
to fucking
difference
rip you
in,
off any chance they get. Apparently.
Well, there's no difference in like what company you have. And the rates are going to be the same no matter what company you have, which is really weird.
Well, then you would actually
Like,
be
maybe
like
underwriting.
that's when you go through and you find out like what company is the best to work with. You know what I mean? Like what company actually
Yeah,
pays out
yeah.
and which companies like fuck you over as much as they can.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I stuck with Liberty Mutual for so long, or working for them, because they seem to be one of the companies that actually fucking did shit right. Like when all the shit happened with like all the fucking really bad hurricane shit. Like they were the one of the few companies that were actually paying out in like a timely fucking time frame.
Oh,
or
they weren't
whatever.
making people struggle to get paid and not paying them and shit.
Yeah, or having to go through reinsurance because they fucking yeah. Yeah, if you're not familiar, there are reinsurance companies where insurance companies take out policies for catastrophic shit like that.
And then other companies pay them if they have to pay out.
Yeah, if it goes above certain whatever limits they fucking pay for.
It's a
then the
crazy
reinsurance covers it.
fucking system where everybody's being insured by everybody. Yeah, it gets weird. There's a lot of weird banking shit like that when it comes to loans too. Where like your bank is loaning you money, but they're also taking a loan out from this other bank, and that bank is taking a loan out from the government. Our government's taking a loan out from some other government, and none of that money really exists anywhere. It's all just bullshit numbers that some fuck in an office made up and put in a computer. It's not real money.
The loans are constantly like being sold to another fucking company, like a month after you sign it, and fucking dude, mortgages are like that. Mortgages are. Yeah, Wells Fargo.
It's to the point where if you're
later, I'm paying fucking Nation Star.
Yeah, if you're buying a house and you're not using a realtor or some sort of lawyer to look over the agreements you're making with your mortgage and all that stuff, you're probably making some mistakes.
Yeah.
20 years ago, it was probably just fine to go through like a realtor or like your buddy who knows a little bit about selling houses and buying houses. But now, oh, dude, I wouldn't want to fuck around with that because you never know when you can end up just like 6 months into paying your mortgage, they get to keep all the money you've paid, all your stuff, and you're just thrown out. The sheriff just shows up and throws you out of your fucking house.
Yeah, and if you've ever signed paperwork or seen paperwork signed for fucking buying a house,
oh, it's a novel.
Fucking shit. Yeah, you're never gonna fucking read all that unless you want to be stuck there for fucking hours.
I bought a car. I bought a car at a dealership once, and that was definitely like a novel worth of paperwork.
Dude, it's nothing compared to buying a house, dude. It's literally.
Oh no, I watched my parents do their paperwork for that too.
Yeah, if you're just signing everything immediately without reading it, it's still going to take over an hour.
Yeah.
Like if you're signing as fast as possible, you're still going to be there over a fucking hour. You're just like, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, which is again pretty fucking stupid, but you're like, okay.
Well, and the contract is so stupid, and especially when it comes to things like auto and house sales, because they're so regulated that there's so many things that are just standardized in that contract that neither you nor the company has any say in.
Yeah,
probably like 3/4 of all that novel are basically just bullshit forms that the government needs filled out and like has already just set like the fees and rates and whatever, you know, who gets what and whatever nonsense they're hashing out there. It's pretty crazy. I think, you know, it would be really fucking fun, and I think this would be something that would definitely make this country a better country. Require that all laws be written in language clearly understandable by the 6th grade graduate.
Yeah, the legalese shit is fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, just you can't make it that complicated. You have to keep it simple enough that a 6th grader can read it and fully understand it.
Yeah.
Imagine how much stuff would have to get changed permanently.
Yeah, it's nothing suspicious about the fact that if you're fucking not a lawyer,
we want to make laws really for everybody, but we want to make sure that nobody else can understand them but us.
Yeah, they'll be explained to you in detail when they fuck you
you're
over.
Fucking criminals. I get it. It's a fraud.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking. It is fucking ridiculous, dude.
It's the same shit like trying to get people into a cult, you know, just different bullshit. Oh god, did you see the fucking story about Wizards of the fucking Coast and their fucking trading cards?
Oh, I heard the title, but I didn't watch any actual videos on it, but it's fucking insane.
Dude.
It sounds insane.
So, okay, the Pinkertons are like, you know the Pinkertons. They have a very checkered fucking history. They're not...
Yeah, I didn't realize they were still in business, but yeah.
Yeah, you would think they were out of business because they were so fucking illegal and scummy for, like, the entire existence of their fucking business. You know what I mean? Like, they're just shitty people and have been forever. In fact, they sued the Red Dead Redemption people, Pinkertons, because they didn't want to be portrayed as bad guys, and lost because they were fucking bad guys. It's like, well, no, the Red Dead Redemption is just portraying you historically correctly. You don't get to complain about that if it's not fake. I mean, other than the fact that it's fictional and it's really, you know, nothing they can do about it anyway, but it's like, no, they were accurately accurately. Come on, guys. So this guy ordered a set of cards. I believe it was like the Arcane. The name of the magic card set was the Arcane. Right. And by accident, the place he ordered from sent him the Arcane Revelations or something like that, which is supposed to be the next set of cards that comes out in like 15 days from now. Comes out in the middle of May. And the Pinkertons came down and like forced their way into his house and were threatening him with like jail and stuff if he wouldn't give him back the cards, because Wizards of the Coast didn't call him and just be like, hey, we saw that video and we realized, you know, you got the wrong set of cards and we'd really like it if you could send those back to us. We'd appreciate it. You know, like that's all they would have had to do, and he would have been like, because this dude's still giving, like the dude who made the videos is still like, oh, you know, Wizards of the Coast is really great. You know, they're super nice guys. We all figured it out. Everything's cool. Even though he could sue them for a lot because legally they had no business doing what they did.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, they're claiming they were stolen, but there's no way to prove they were stolen because they'd given them to the dealer early so that the dealer could send them out when he was supposed to send them out for like the early release stuff. Right, and he made a mistake and sent it to the guy. At that point, they're legally that guy's property. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you sent them on purpose or on accident. He paid you for product. You sent him product. He owns it. You send him the wrong stuff. Not only does he own it, he doesn't have to pay you for it. He can actually make you then send him the right stuff. legally speaking.
Yeah. I would imagine it's his fucking
Yeah.
decision whether he wants to fucking
And
return it
and,
for the
and, I,
correct
and I don't
what
think he should
ordered.
have kept them. Like, if they called and said, hey, by the way, you got the wrong set of cards, can you please give those back? I'd have been like, oh my god, I'm so, no problem. Here you go. And I'm sure he would have been the same. And if they were smart, what they would have done is they would have called him up, asked him to, like, take down the video and send back the cards, and then offer to, like, make it up for, like, we know you ordered, like, 2 packs, so we're going to send you out, like, 4 packs or something. We're really sorry about how this all went down. That would have been the smart move. But instead they sent the fucking Pinkertons. And, I'm sure Wizard of the Coast sales are going to be less than fucking spectacular when the next set of cards drops in the middle of May.
I would fucking hope so, dude.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be selling very many packs. I think it's not going to fucking end well for them.
Yeah, they've been doing shitty shit for a while, though, from what I understand.
And people keep buying their fucking garbage too.
Yeah,
I understand the D&D stuff because unfortunately they own Dungeons and Dragons. But the rest of the stuff they do is not that big of a deal. I would just fucking let it die.
But yeah, this is fucking... Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, I would have thought they would have at least contacted the dude ahead of time.
Right? That's the part that gets me, is why not just give him a phone call and be like, hey, man, think you could take that video down for a month and, like, send the cards back because we really didn't mean to do this? We would really appreciate it, and we'd be very grateful. We could offer you, some nice, cards that are supposed to be out as a thank you, and, send you, like, a poster and sign it or something. Have one of the artists sign a poster or something for you. Like, there's so many things they could have done that would have been the smart move there, as far as just, like, as far as legally, they're definitely in the wrong. But, I mean, just, like...
Yeah, it'd be
do they have a public relations person that works for Wizards of the Coast? Or is there just a 5-year-old rolling around in its own shit making decisions for them? Because it seems like there's a 5-year-old rolling around in its own shit making decisions for them.
Yeah, it is pretty baffling, dude.
Because their last move was...
I have to imagine.
Well, their last move was not only, like, an attempt at something that would have been illegal, but, like, just destroyed the community around Dungeons & Dragons entirely. The whole reason Dungeons & Dragons is as popular as it is now is because they got really big on, like, YouTube and stuff.
Right.
And a lot of people were like, oh, this is so cool, I really want to get into it. They would have never been exposed to Dungeons & Dragons in any other way. And it's all fair use. It's 100% fair use. They're making up their own stories based on a rule set that, Dungeons & Dragons releases. Legally speaking, there's nothing Dungeons & Dragons can do to make them pay. I mean, they can just say they want people to pay, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's legally speaking, it's beyond their fucking ability.
Yeah. It would definitely fall under fair use or whatever the fuck, dude. Transformative.
No, there's you can't copyright certain things. There are certain things you just cannot copyright. Dungeons and Dragons, you can't copyright a set of rules. So that's why you have things like Pathfinder, which are basically rip-offs of Dungeons and Dragons rules, slightly altered to make it a in their opinion, better game. Like, that's why they're allowed to sell that, because you can't copyright rules. So they could not copyright claim the people who are making videos using those rules.
Yeah, their business model,
it's
whatever.
It doesn't give them the option.
They're all their decisions to be what's the shittiest possible way we could handle this. Like, that seems to be their company fucking not
policy. Yeah, like, how can we piss off our? I mean, other companies like Blizzard, which is the one that does, like, Overwatch 2, that went free to play and made the game, like, made a lot of people unhappy. Even they're better at making decisions, like even they fuck up everything, and they're better than fucking Wizards of the Coast with, like, making their players happy. Like, oh shit, here's a skin, guys, our bad, we fucked up here, have a skin, and people are like, oh, skin, skin, like, They're at least got half a clue what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, Nintendo's another one that seems to just,
The one that put those dudes in prison?
dude.
First of all, how is that even illegal? Why can't you
no,
modify whatever the fuck you buy and then sell it? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Again,
What is Ford gonna come in and fucking slap cuffs on me the next time I sell a fucking old, like a Ford that I used or owned or something? Like I'm not allowed to sell my cars anymore because they belong to Ford apparently, or or was it when I put the new set of brakes in the Mustang when I converted the drum brakes to disc brakes in the front of the car and set it on a 2-channel braking system so it'd be less likely to go out on me. Be way safer to drive on the streets. Was I violating Ford's fucking code of conduct and I should go to prison for that? I mean,
yeah, maybe you shouldn't be talking about this publicly. Dude.
Yeah, really. Well, no, okay. So here's an interesting thing in Colorado earlier this month, they signed the first ever right to repair law into law in the state.
Gotcha.
And it's based, that law, to be fair, is based mostly on tractors and farm equipment. It's almost entirely about farm equipment and tractors and all that stuff, giving people the right to repair and the right to have access to the information they need to repair vehicles. So, like, you can't have secret codes. They have to, be up front, and those have to be available freely to everyone to do diagnostics and stuff on their own tractors and whatnot. And they, they can't make it so that nobody else can sell parts that are the same parts that their vehicles need. So they're going to have to give up a lot of fucking industry secrets they've been doing to make it so that, because apparently they were absolutely destroying farmers with costs. These farm companies, these farm equipment companies, were just taking so much money to repair things that it was absurd.
Yeah, it was essentially extortion.
Yeah, it was basically that, and so that's what they're addressing now. But hopefully, things like that, and it's not as recent, but when they upheld people's right to jailbreak their iPhones, saying that the people that ran iPhones, Apple couldn't go after them and sue them for jailbreaking their phones.
Oh, right.
You couldn't take their money and stuff. Yeah, it was like... those things are all pushing towards keeping people like the guy that was modifying Nintendos out of prison, because realistically you should be able to buy whatever you want, modify it however you want, and then sell it if you want, unless there's some sort of demonstrable danger to society. Like if you're buying heroin and you're taking your pills and powderizing them and then selling them in powder form, okay, maybe that's not if you're somebody who has Oxycontin, the hillbilly heroin.
Right.
Maybe that's not something you should be allowed to do, but if you buy a computer from HP and then change a couple of fucking components and sell it for twice as much, good for you.
Yeah. Either find a way to stop them from doing it or fuck you, basically.
Or maybe if you're smart as a company and people are making money by modifying it that way, just do it yourself for less and sell it and put them out of business.
Yeah, make it unprofitable for them.
Yeah.
Beat them in the marketplace.
Granted, this guy, I think they were making it so you could do mods and stuff on Nintendo, which is technically cheats or whatever, so I can understand people being upset about that. But at the same time, you can't put somebody in jail for soldering a couple fucking chips into a Nintendo circuit board and making it more fun for the person that owns it.
Yeah, wasn't it something it would give you access to all the games and shit? Is that what it was? What he was doing, or was it just cheats and shit?
As far as I know, and I didn't look into it very well, so big grain of salt here. I believe it was basically just to modify games.
Oh, okay.
So that if you were playing mods, if you wanted to run, what was the most recent Link Zelda game? Breath of the Wilds, I think it was.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most recent ones. But yeah,
Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
sounds
So
right.
if you wanted to make
Things
it
I
so that
think
you
is the new
were
one.
a giant chimpanzee riding a motorcycle through the game and play it that way for yourself, for your own fucking amusement,
Yeah, yeah,
you
okay.
buy one of these things and you can set it up to like let you run mods that might let you do that. And so Nintendo was like, no, 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 you go to prison. And
Yeah,
it's like, that's
that's
fucking
fucking
insane.
amazing.
It's like, how is that even illegal? It doesn't even make sense that that would even be a prison worthy offense.
Yeah, plus he had dude, they had to pay a fucking huge fine too, right? Like he's going to be paying for the rest of his fucking life.
Oh, so people don't understand this. What they agree to give you in court only matters to a certain point. So even if it's like the most justifiable lawsuit in the world, and the corporation is just pure fucking evil, run by like Satan and Hitler's love child, and you the poor innocent person whose mammy got murdered by the company,
Mm,
there are usually maximum amounts set as to how much compensation can be for things.
I gotcha.
So like personal damages, Nintendo can claim 10 million, but the maximum for that state is probably somewhere in the range of 250 to 300,000.
I gotcha.
So the most he'll owe is 250 to 300,000, which arguably is still ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it'll whatever, and then
Yeah,
there's also all those things go through appeals where they're just like 10 million is insane, and then the next
yeah,
judge will be like, yeah, what the fuck is with that other judge? That's crazy. I'm knocking that down to 100,000.
yeah,
So that stuff
yeah. Or
happens
like
all the time.
in the Depp trial, one of the charges, or one of the things they found in Depp's favor of, they awarded him 5 million, but that specific thing, the max for the state was like 350,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so same thing is going to apply in that case. He's not going to owe $10 million. They're doing that because they want to scare people and they want that number out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They want to deter other people from even thinking about it.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me is like, what if it was some like 13-year-old who went to Circuit City and bought a fucking soldering kit and some screwdrivers, and jailbreaked his Nintendo? Are they going to put him in jail? Like, does he get a month in prison? I mean,
Yeah,
out
they
of your
probably
fucking
try.
minds? Like, there's no demonstrable harm here. Nintendo's not losing sales because you bought something from them and then sold it modified to someone else.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nintendo. Well,
And,
all
and,
of
and
them
what
are
an
pretty
absurd
evil, but
concept that you're not
Nintendo.
allowed to modify your own property as you like and then sell it if you want. Whether you're
Yeah, in
doing it as
that
a
case,
business or not.
yeah, they should be probably. Yeah, they should be doing long-term leases or some weird shit like that that nobody would agree to. That
Well,
would be
imagine
like
if
the
you
only
applied that to
way.
like anything else. What's that? Dunkin' Donuts. You took that flour and those eggs and that water and that oil and you made fucking food out of that shit? Who the fuck do you think you
Yeah,
are?
we
Go
need
to
a cut of
prison,
that.
you fucking
Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts
all
motherfucker.
the yeah, all the companies that they got ingredients from are like, no, we need a cut of that after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, that'd be absurd. Like, it just turns out that the flour you sold went to Dunkin' Donuts, so it was worth more than if it had gone to like Safeway or something to get sold on a grocery store shelf. And you're like, wait, no, it was more valuable over there. Give me that money. It's fucking so just fucking dumb. Like, my God.
Yeah. Like I said, Sony and Microsoft are awful too, but Nintendo
Oh yeah, well, I
seems
mean, how many
to
channels
agree.
have they shut down on YouTube? My God.
Dude, it's ugh.
And it's like, these people are selling your games, dummy.
Yeah, yeah, that was the really bizarre shit. It's them shutting down people doing like playthroughs and shit. And I'm like, dude, if people see that, even if they can watch you play the entire fucking game, if it looks good, they're going to buy it and play it themselves.
I've 100% done that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I knew exactly how the fucking the shooter game with the guy from Oh wow, I'm losing that one altogether. Rick and Morty, that shooter game I was playing that was from the writer from Rick and Morty. I knew how that game was going to end before I bought it. It didn't matter to me. I'm still playing through it and enjoying the hell out of it. I played through once. I'm gonna play through it again.
Yeah, it would be like for me. Like I still want to play Cuphead, even though I've seen the whole fucking game played through. Like if I ever get a fucking Xbox again instead of a PlayStation, I'm going to play Cuphead, even if I've seen most of the fucking footage of it.
You know, if you get yourself a really good gaming PC instead of a console, you could play all those games. There's a couple games here and there that you can't play on PC because they're specific to consoles only. But most of them now, like, you can play on PC. Like almost all games that come out.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I don't use a TV.
I have is my fucking son's old PS4. So
true.
Yeah, I'm not buying anything nowadays. So yeah, the reason I have that is because he got a PS5. But yeah, in the end,
you gotta go steal a gaming PC, man.
Actually, what I'd like to get a hold of more than anything is the fucking Super NES Mini, because I missed a lot of fucking good games on that system. I really want to play the Zelda game because it's apparently one of the best, like one of everybody's favorites.
Super NES Mini.
Games, so good. Yeah, you remember they came out with the NES Mini and then came out with the Super Nintendo Mini?
Is it like one of those things where it's you buy it and plug it into your monitor or whatever, and it just has like all the games on it?
Yeah, it's got a bunch of games preloaded. I think you can probably download even more, something like that. But yeah, it comes with like 80 games or however, like from the original Nintendo, obviously on the NES Mini, and then obviously Super Nintendo games on the Super Nintendo Mini. But they fucking, yeah, this is another great thing about Nintendo is they deliberately do just a limited run of them. Like they don't produce it anymore. So it was like a one-time thing. So obviously if you're going to fucking buy it secondhand, the fucking value is fucking super high because it was a limited run. And then
that is kind of shitty. And it's just like you just plug it into your TV or your computer or whatever and play it, huh?
Yeah. It's like one of those. I guess they've made them for a while. Like the little things that they're just kind of a plug and play thing, but just with better games.
Yeah, here's a generic mini NES Retro Classic. Video game console, TV game player built in 820 games. 821 games built in.
Yeah, and I could probably find an emulator, actually, now I fucking think about it. I definitely found, like, the regular Nintendo emulators, and they work well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No, I don't have my own computer, so I don't want to fuck with any of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, I would download, like the arcade game emulator. Dude, I love that fucking thing. God damn, that was awesome. Just being able to play essentially any fucking arcade game on your fucking computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've never seen that? Yeah, it's MAME, I think, multi arcade machine emulator 64 or something like that.
I'll have to see that because I've got gamepads. I wonder if I can just buy like some sort of emulator system on my computer and play all these old games without having to buy any of this shit. Because like I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what, I could afford this.
Yeah.
But it's all at the same time, it's all free. Then I'll definitely have to look into it. But it's because I was looking at the NES console stuff. I'm like, I could afford one. But at the same time, then I'd have like this new fucking thing that I have to set somewhere. like take up yet more space.
Yeah, and on most of them you can usually fucking buttons to what like if you're using a keyboard to whatever key you want to be the A button, the B button, and so on. So I assume you can do that with a controller. I've never done that. I just always use the keyboard. But yeah, if you have a fucking controller that you can use,
yeah, for sure,
you can map that.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, like you said, I never went past just the Nintendo one, but I'm sure there's emulators for any fucking system you can, that ever came out.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
The arcade one was fucking awesome because again, it cost nothing. Basically, you get the actual emulator on one site, and then you got to find the ROMs on some other site. There's a couple of them that are have issues that you have to fix. Like I think the game Rolling Thunder. I don't know if you remember that from way back in the day, but like that one, there's a couple of things you have to fix, like in the code or whatever. But a vast majority of them, dude, just fucking work immediately.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool because there's a lot of old games I'd love to go back and replay. I can never get enough of Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. Like those games are fucking awesome. Fire Emblem is kind of a similar game style to them. It uses the same kind of game.
Right.
It's pretty fun. Plus, the first Mario Brothers game was a lot of fun. Just regular Mario Brothers, and Mario Brothers 3 was pretty good. I think my favorite Zelda game would be Wind Waker.
Yeah, I don't know if you spent a lot of time in arcades when you're here, but...
oh, yeah, you got Contra, what is it, Pitfall.
Yeah,
wait,
Double
that was
Dragon
an old arcade. Double Dragons was great. There was some Ninja Turtles stuff.
Yeah.
Golden Axe.
Golden Axe, yeah.
Golden Axe, where you were either the warrior, the archer, or the mage, and you shot a different little thing depending on what you were. Yeah. That was a fucking great one.
The great thing about this one too, as opposed to the arcade, to put another quarter in, you just hit F5 for as many times as you want.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty fucking awesome. So especially, I don't know if you remember Super Off-Road. I don't know if you ever played that one, where you're the little trucks racing around the track. But if you wanted to keep winning, you had to have an insane amount of nitros, and you had to beef up your engine and shit, which again would you can win a few matches without putting extra quarters in, maybe, although even that's kind of tough. But if it's something that probably costs you $10 in quarters, and you can just keep hitting F5 to get all that shit right away.
Oh, so it's way more easy.
Yeah, it makes the game way fucking easier because it doesn't cost actual money.
That is pretty fucking badass.
Continuing on Double Dragon, so you can actually, get through the whole game pretty fucking easily.
Man.
Or Contra. Yeah, that would have been another.
Contra was one of my favorites in arcades early on. Contra and Golden Axe were my go-tos for sure.
But again, but they're even the most.
There was a lot of driving games that were fun. There was one where you were like a car and you'd want to pick up certain things and you'd want to shoot other things. Like you could upgrade your car's gun and fire off in these other cars and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a few like that. I can't remember any specific ones.
No. I'm just saying, there were a ton of different car games that I really enjoyed, and I just can't think of.
The specific names of any.
Yeah, I can't.
No, I hear you.
or like, because there were so many different kind of driving games. Because like putting a steering wheel on a thing was like that was the cool thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Super Off-Road would have been the main one I played, but I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I played that one too. Like I'm saying, there's just so many that it's hard for me to remember like a specific one.
But yeah, pretty much anything. Dude, there was never an arcade game that I looked up that I did not find a ROM for to play on the arcade game emulator.
Yeah.
Like UN Squadron was one that was kind of obscure that I really liked back in my teen years or whatever. Found that because nobody ever knows what I'm talking about when I mention that game.
Nope. No
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, for some reason, Mr. Do was the game that I wanted to play originally when I found that one. And then I'm like, that's probably not even my top 50 like favorite arcade games. But for some reason, I wanted to play that fucking game. Mr. Do's Castle.
Mr. Do's Castle.
Yeah, it sucked. I mean, well, it didn't suck. It was good, but again, as far as arcade games went over the years, it was, there were definitely way, way more better games. If there's even any footage of a UN Squadron game. Oh, there was one on the Super NES. No, that would have been different. No, that's pretty much it. But yeah, that was a fun little game. Yeah. Oh, I guess it was on the Super NES. Okay. I don't remember that, but. But yeah, it was a side scroller, like you fly the planes and blow shit
Oh
up.
yeah, the planes were fun.
But yeah, there's a place that was right across from our high school. Like we had the open campus shit for lunch or whatever at our high school. So yeah, there's a place right across the street that had like an arcade, pool tables and shit like that. And that was one of the games they had there.
Ah. Huh.
And I enjoyed it. It was a fun little game.
Yeah, there were a lot of fun ones. You ever play caveman games?
I don't think I ever came across an arcade one that had that. I'm familiar with it. It's similar to like a caveman version of like track and field shit. Kinda, or no?
Yeah. And you could like throw the lady or whatever. You could throw the ladies.
Yeah, grab her by the hair and throw her, that kind of thing. You seem slightly distracted. Is everything okay on your end?
I'm not. I did not start a video game, sir.
Oh fuck. Look it up. M-E-M-E. M-E-M-E. No, not music.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other stories were going on this week, though. There was some other shit. I know there was some stuff regarding what do you call it? The one where the government just takes your money because you have too much money, so it must be illegal.
Fuck, dude. We talked about this recently, and I'm blanking on it. What the fuck was it?
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name of it offhand.
Driving me nuts now, dude. Fuck! Dude, we've talked about this like within the last month, I'm sure of it. And I can't fucking remember it.
Gotta be careful, man.
Yeah. You're like, hey, you shouldn't be carrying around that much cash, so we're going to take your cash because you're probably up to no good.
Yeah. Damn
Oh,
it.
civil asset forfeiture.
Civil asset forfeiture, yes.
Finally, dude, I'm driving me fucking nuts. All right, it looks like the ME thing's still alive, so
But
yeah,
yeah,
you
that
should
that
look
was the
into it
thing
then.
that was up in the Supreme Court recently. I don't know if it was I think it was a state Supreme Court, not like the full on.
Yeah, not the national one.
Yeah, not that. Yeah, so it was like kind of a not as big as it could be, which would have been much nicer.
It would be nice if they'd hear. Well, I guess you never know how it's going to turn out, but they should probably hear that case nationally. Like the Supreme Court should probably hear that case.
Yes, that would be one for the full on Supreme Court because I think right now you might get a more balanced like, hey, you know what? You got to actually have some sort of reason to take somebody's money that you've gone through and dealt with in court. You can't just arbitrarily just take this shit. You have to have proven some sort of actual proven guilt before you just take somebody's stuff from them. You know, you can't just be like, well, you smelled funny, and you were carrying $10,000, so you must have gotten it from weed. You know, you gotta actually have
Yeah.
proven in court that that's the thing. That's why it's so fucking gross. Why everybody hates it because it's such an obvious violation of our constitutional rights.
Yeah, it is pretty sickening that it's fucking gone on this long. All right, I posted the link right underneath that UN Squadron run. That'll probably, if you actually want to do it, I assume they have everything off of that page. It looked like they did, which is a lot easier than it was when I found it, fucking 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think the rule they go off of is it has to be a certain age. Like the game has to have been out for a certain amount of time before they'll emulate it or whatever. But
Oh, that
remember
makes
these
sense. Like
arcade
they're like,
games?
we don't wanna fucking cross that line where we're becoming like pirates and stealing the money out of their fucking
Yeah.
bank. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, any game you're going to want to play is probably going to be old enough by now.
Yeah. All the games that I'm really interested in on the emulator would be.
All right, and it just posted the link. It didn't pop in. I just copied the fucking the link to the website or whatever. So
Oh,
it's hard
okay.
to miss, but it's there right under the UN Squadron thing that I posted.
So I'll have to check that out. Oh, did you watch that video of the redneck looking dude? Where I was saying like this is my long lost brother or he's stealing my bit.
Oh no! I watched the one about the pedo fucking cop.
Yeah, that one was very satisfying. Dude was fucking like 14-year-old girls and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, you're gonna go to prison. It never fails to blow my mind how fucking smart these dumb motherfuckers think they are when it comes to like dealing with
Yeah.
police and interrogations. Because honestly,
Yeah.
that dude probably wouldn't be going to prison if he just said, you know what, I'm gonna need a lawyer.
Yeah, he
It's
didn't bother to say
voluntary,
that
then I'm gonna
until,
say
like,
no, and I'm
after
gonna get
they
an
asked
attorney
the
right
code.
now.
Yeah, I don't know. They're fucking arrogant, dude. They're fucking like,
Yeah.
I'm a cop. Nobody's gonna suspect me.
I got no one. Yeah, I know the system. You know, I don't need anybody to help me. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you know the system, you should realize if you're going in to be questioned, and you're a cop especially, they've probably fucking got some dirt on you. So you should probably not talk to them.
Well, and if she keeps stressing that this is all voluntary and that you have to agree to it.
Yeah, but we also have a search warrant already for all this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. It's like
That was
that's when
amazing.
you get an attorney.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was like he really didn't like really push back until they're like when he told him like, yeah, no, my keys are in the car. There's a code, and then he's like, well, do I have to give that to you? I'm like, yeah, we have a search warrant for your car. So, and then he's like, oh, maybe I should get a lawyer. Yeah, he's really a dumbass, dude.
Yep.
But it's a good thing, since he's a fucking...
It makes it a little extra satisfying
motherfucker.
in these cases, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching one, a dude was like a fucking colonel. It was in like Canada or something, but he was also fucking like breaking into women's houses and like raping and killing them. And he like goes into the fucking questioning, like, no way they're gonna bust me. I'm a fucking bigwig in the army or whatever.
Yeah. Did not work out for him,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
No, shockingly. Yeah, he told his wife, yeah, I'll be home, later tonight, and it turned out he would not be.
He would not ever be returning home.
Yeah, that one was fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it's insane how many people seem to think that they can talk themselves out of trouble and not just into more trouble.
Dude. Oh, dude, did you ever hear about the one where the fucking bitch, like, managed to get her boyfriend, like, to get into a suitcase and, like, zip him up in it, and then just let him there until he died?
Oh, that's awful, dude. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
shoot
like,
him or
he
stab
was,
him or something. Like, fucking make it faster.
Yeah, no.
What an awful way to die. Like, slowly starving to death.
Apparently had treated her like shit and all, but yeah, he did not kill her. Like, he definitely treated her badly, but never at once did he do anything that was slowly killing her. Yeah, and she goes into the questioning like, no, it was an accident. I zipped him up, and then I'd been drinking, so like I went upstairs and like went to bed, and then so it was an accident. It was a total accident.
Yeah.
And somehow thinks.
Well, you know what I would say in that
going
case,
home.
though, was he really abusive? Or is she just a psycho?
Yeah.
Because that's
can't
not
remember. I
the
think
kind
they
of thing
actually did have-
that people who are abused do to defend themselves. People who are abused usually defend themselves with overwhelming force, by surprise, or with
Right.
poison. Like the way she did that is way too calculating. And if he was an
Yeah.
abusive boyfriend, there's no way he would have gotten in there. He would never have given her that level of control.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed a little suspicious, dude. But, dude, and what's really funny is, she was like drunk, and she didn't realize she had made a couple recordings of her while he was in there saying, Sarah, please, I can't breathe. I'm like, you know what I mean? And she's just like, fucking talking shit to him, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
So my guess
good or
is she was
fucking
abusive
whatever.
the entire time, and that was her killing him at the very end.
Yeah, maybe.
In an ultimate act of
or he was
abuse.
abusive than it was. Yeah, whatever it was, dude. She definitely fucking...
I just
Yeah,
don't
so,
buy
yeah,
that he was an
the other
abusive
one I was
boyfriend.
talking
I'm
about.
sorry. Yeah, just the way that goes.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I was watching it where there were police reports and shit, but still. Yeah. He never killed you or fucking... Yeah. Yeah, the other one was talking about... Yeah, he was a colonel. I'm pretty sure it was in Canada. He was like a colonel in the army, Canadian Army or something.
Yeah.
That channel's got some pretty good ones on it. The Jody Arias. I don't know if you remember that one. It was here in Arizona. Yeah, do you remember Jody Arias?
No, not offhand.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was basically a case of where, like, she was hooking up with this dude that was like a Mormon dude, but he was like... essentially, he was just fucking her and let her know pretty much the whole time he never had an interest in like dating her, and was doing like kind of BDSM shit with her, like just humiliating her and doing shit like that. And at some point, she basically decides to kill him. And so she was in California, like she had moved back with her parents or grandparents or whatever the fuck, and basically starts heading towards Arizona. She's pretending she like setting down all the shit, like she's going on a trip somewhere. And at some point, like fills up a shitload of like gas tanks and all that. Turns her cell phone off. Fills up extra gas tanks so she doesn't have to gas up anywhere else or whatever on the way there and back. And then goes to his place and ends up showing up, because basically what happened most of the time is he would be like, yeah, I'm done with her or whatever, and then she'd show up at his house at like fucking 2 in the morning or something, and like, hey, let's fuck, and he would fuck her or whatever. And the last time she did this, went through all that, and then was doing shit like basically calling him like, oh yeah, no, I went like 100 miles the wrong way on my trip to this place. Oh, but yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. And like leaving voicemails to him when he's already dead after she's already killed him.
Oh, that's not
Yeah, it's
fucking creepy.
disturbing. Yeah, that one's an interesting watch. You remember the Casey Anthony one? Did we talk about that one?
Casey Anthony's one of the murdered her kids, right?
Yeah, and fucking was found innocent. I did not remember that she actually was found not guilty. Yeah, she's the one that like her kid was quote unquote missing for like a month, and then like her parents, the kid's grandparents or whatever, were like, well, where is she? She's like, I don't know, she's missing for like a month. The babysitter like disappeared or something. Like she was hanging out with her new fucking boyfriend or whatever, and just fucking getting high and fucking him or whatever. And dude, like there's no fucking way you'd let your kid be missing for a month without fucking calling the cops on like day 2, I would say at the latest. Yeah, it was insane. He got away with it.
6 hours?
Yeah.
Most parents?
Why I said day 2 at the absolute fucking latest.
I think most parents, if you came home and the babysitter and your kids was gone, you're calling the police.
Yeah, no, it should be immediate.
Yeah,
like I said, day 2 at the absolute latest, and that would be
if it was like the babysitter is a family member.
Yeah.
Like it's your fucking cousin, and you're like, okay, well,
and
he must have had to go do something, so he took the kids with him.
Yeah,
and then you call and you can't get a hold of him, and you're like, well, if it was this big of an emergency, maybe he can't hear his phone or whatever, he can't answer for right now, and you might put that off for like a few hours. But even then, I would say within 6 hours, you're going to call the police. Yeah. Family or no.
If I remember correctly, I think the babysitter was just completely made up.
Like, well, obviously there's no babysitter. She fucking murdered the kids.
And then, now I think she moved back to North Carolina, and like, okay, with your kid, and you didn't, like, it was so insane. But they fucking somehow found her not guilty. It was fucking amazing, dude. I don't know. But I thought she'd been found guilty.
Yeah, but nutty. That's the part that's sick. Yeah, is that she got away with it, and she got away with it for one reason. She has vagina. Yeah. Despite all of the incredibly suspicious shit. Oh God. And the defense attorney really proud of himself for fucking, dude, I don't know, I couldn't do it, dude. Yeah, I don't understand how you can defend somebody that you fucking know. There's no fucking way that dude doesn't know she's guilty as fuck. But he's like, well, this will get my name out there. Yeah, that level of fucking seeking fame and fortune is pretty fucking disgusting too. Yeah, very true. Man. Oh, there's the one dude that murdered his wife, right? Like in the middle of a restaurant. If I remember correctly. Yeah. I don't remember that one. It's like one of the more famous, like old Hollywood ones, like 70s era. I just can't remember the guy's
gotcha.
name. But it's one of those things where like he's not legally guilty, but like if you know, you'd be hard pressed to believe he was in any way innocent.
Oh, fuck. Robert Blakely, maybe?
Yeah,
It's
Blake,
something like that.
something or other. Robert Blake sounds right.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? I'm trying to remember, because, yeah, he was a
Is it
TV guy,
Samaj?
right?
Yeah.
I know he had, like, a famous, Beretta? I think Beretta was a show, right? I'm pretty sure it's the guy with Beretta.
Yeah, and it was like he had a buddy that like backed him up or something, that he hadn't been there or something, even though like everybody had seen it. It was some crazy fucking story.
Yeah, Robert Blake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite obviously
What's
guilty.
going on, Mr. Samaj, sir?
Yeah, I'm all right. How you guys all doing?
Yeah, hanging in there.
You.
Yes,
Hanging
us
in
and
there.
all the people watching at home.
Yes. Lots of those, I'm sure.
Yeah, you never know.
Shit, has there been any? No. I was going to say, nope, no chats. I checked it earlier to make sure our voices were actually coming through. And that's an issue that we should be checking.
Yes, I did
Oh.
check that. I did make sure that we had our voices coming through.
But yeah, I had not checked since then, so no chats.
No,
So
it's
now
all working.
by.
You guys been streaming for about an hour?
Hour and 20.
Yeah.
Ah. There we go. Hour
Yeah,
20.
what's up with you?
Yeah. We covered what was it, the guy that went to prison for fucking modifying Nintendos.
Yeah, that's a shit show and a half. Like, good lord, Nintendo. How am I supposed to? I don't know. I saw that and I thought that's ridiculous. Absolutely silly.
Yeah. Oh, the Wizard of the Coast thing. Yeah, we were talking about how these Nintendo and Wizards of the Coast seem to approach every situation with, what's the worst possible way we can handle this?
Yeah, it's
And then they
insane.
proceed from there.
The
The Wizard of the
like
Coast
they
thing
just
is fucking Christ, dude. Yeah, are you familiar with that one, Samaj? Where they sent some company had sent dude the wrong set, like a set that wasn't supposed to be released yet. And instead of like just contacting the guy and asking for it back or anything, they sent the fucking Pinkerton guys after him to raid his fucking house to get him back.
I did not hear about this. This is ridiculous.
yeah, it's insane. And arguably, at no point was that ever like, what do you call it? There's no way that was not legally his property at that point. Like, there was no theft. Like, their whole argument that like they had they could justify what do you call it? That they could justify sending in like armed fucking people to like steal this dude's shit. Like, there's no theft. There was nothing that they had at all legally to justify that. It was really out of line.
Yeah, dude, the fact they didn't bother to try to contact him first, dude, is fucking insane.
Well, and the really unfortunate part, the part that really kind of pisses me off, is he seems really happy. So he must have gotten given a whole bunch of cards and not realized that, like, if he were to hire a lawyer, he could probably get some settlement in the six figures here.
Yeah, shit, I'd say easily 7, dude.
Because not only does he have
dude.
full legal claim, just genuinely legal claim to the cards themselves, just because of how the laws work. They sent armed fucking people to threaten him with jail to take property he didn't steal. Like, you can't just do that. Like, that's so far beyond the pale.
Well, apparently you can.
My guess is
Fucking did it.
my guess is that Hasbro in particular, is hurting something fierce. They are in
Yeah.
full-on panic mode because things aren't going well. Like, have you heard about the Dungeons and Dragons movie and how it's not doing as well as they thought?
Really? I've heard everybody that has spoken about it that I've heard has said it's great.
Okay, they said that in the first weekend. On the second weekend, it dropped by like 40% in viewership. Nobody cared.
Ah,
And,
okay.
and not only that, I
So
mean,
whether it was good or not,
well, I
nobody's
mean,
watching it anymore.
I saw it. It's entertaining well enough. I mean, not entertaining enough for me to want to go see it again. But it was like, yeah, it was okay. But it was like, it's a mediocre movie. Is what I'm getting at. It's a big budget, mediocre movie that did
Yeah.
okay. And yeah, and of course, I mean, it's kind of going up against Super Mario Brothers. It's not gonna do well. Maybe if Super Mario wasn't in theaters, maybe it would have done okay, but it's not. And there's no repeat viewing. Nobody's interested. There probably won't be a sequel or anything, so it's not doing good at all. The only hope they have at this, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the only thing they have to look forward to that might save them from utter destruction might be that Transformers movie, which is getting rave reviews because reviews as in reaction, I should say, because the new trailer just came out today, and like I'm fucking psyched for this. I want this movie to come out now. So that's just me.
Yeah, the things I've heard about both the Super Mario movie and Dungeons and Dragons, just like, yeah, it's okay. It's not overly woke. Like, that's basically all you have to do nowadays.
Well,
And not, you know what I mean? Fucking do fairly well.
To be classified as not a horrible fuck up, all you have to do is just not be that woke.
Yeah, but they don't quite get it. Well, not to mention, like, a lot of the people that they hire to make movies, they're the ones pushing a lot of this, and so they don't quite get it either, because this is what they learned when they were in school, so they don't understand why things aren't working so well. Because it's like, well, this is what I was taught. This is what I spent all my life savings and went into debt for. I went into film school to learn how to make movies, and this is how they were taught. So in a lot of ways, these filmmakers, they're all victims in a sense. It's like, because they were told this is what you're supposed to do to make money. It's the same thing when they talk about people from Cal Arts and the Cal Arts art style, because it's all the same art style over and over again. They spent tons of money to learn how to make absolute garbage. That's because that's the way the industry was. Anyway, that's my small one.
Yeah. Yeah, they essentially went into crippling debt to be brainwashed into believing some fucking bullshit.
Yes, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, a lot of these people you just have to feel sorry for. I know that they're destroying culture, they're destroying society in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's like they don't know any better. They don't. It's like that phrase from the Bible. It's like, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." That's kind of what's going on. They think that they know what they're doing. They do, but they have no clue, and it's sad.
Yeah, well, they're on the right side of history too, which is a real fucking problem.
Yeah, you're right.
Push back, they're like, nah, we're right. We're going to be proven right in the long run, or you know what I mean? So they're not even like thinking like, oh, maybe what they told us was bullshit. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it's like I said, it's a family-friendly movie, definitely designed for kids. It's very kid-friendly, and I see why it's doing so well. It's actually just a good, entertaining movie.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's decent. It's not great, but it's
Well, it's refreshing because it's refreshing because every movie that's out there, it's making it's like parents love it, kids love it, kind of thing, because they think it's what they need to do, because it's also got jokes in there for the parents, and it's like, okay, all right, well, movies shouldn't be for parents, that's for sure, especially animated ones.
Yeah.
Just call me crazy, but I remember when cartoons were for kids, and like the adults who like to go there are just like nerds.
Yeah, like the Shrek movies did a pretty decent job of, like, being kid friendly but sneaking in little fucking adult fucking jokes.
Well, yeah, and part of the reason for that is because like Shrek was also supposed to be like a parody of Disney movies, which is also why it was as popular as it was, because it's like people were just sort of sick of the forever wholesomeness of Disney. It's like let's make something a little more edgier. But they still told a great story, so like, yeah. And thank God they're going to be making more Shrek movies. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Well, and
yeah, we'll
Lord
see.
knows, yeah, and Lord knows DreamWorks needs more Shrek movies because it's like everything else they're making is just not doing well.
So fun.
Yeah. Going back to the Dungeons and Dragons, like I feel like they just did a shit job of like advertising it because I don't remember hearing about it, and I feel like I should have. You know what I mean? Like I didn't hear about it until it was already out.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to do a different kind of marketing campaign. It's like I think they were trying to do like maybe ads on buses and other such things. Just because, like, what's the point in putting an ad out if you know that not many people are watching ads or skipping them? I don't know. It's
Well,
hard to
the
say.
thing is, it's like, so I watch YouTube on my phone, like while I'm at work and stuff a lot because I'm a sleep overnight guy.
Mhm.
Some of those ads, man, like they play them 100 fucking times. Like, why would you watch it more after a certain point? Like, I don't think they understand that like advertising can reach like a saturation point where it's not that nobody wants your product; it's that they know, and now you're just being fucking
Yeah,
obnoxious.
Hmm.
yeah. Like if somebody's seen it 3 times, they should have some way of knowing that and not having to pay for them to see it 12 more times.
Uh, I think what advertising companies need to do is they need to do more sponsorships and more integrated advertising kind of stuff.
Maybe.
That and I will watch an ad if it's relevant to me, if it's something I might actually have a need for or an interest in the product.
Have you
Yeah.
guys
I
seen any of
mean,
the ads for the Timu thing? Um, I don't know what's going on with that, but it seems like it's a scam.
the what? What?
No, I've heard of that.
Timu, to shop like a billionaire is their tagline usually. It's shit
That
that
sounds like a
seems
scam. Yeah.
insanely low priced.
The second you said that, shop like
It's
a
shit
billionaire, I
that,
was like, that's probably a scam.
yeah, dude, the prices they're listing for the fucking shit they're selling, I'm like, how can you sell shoes that you're claiming retail for $30 for $1.32 including shipping? Like,
I've
yeah,
seen
it's kind of
like those fucking earbud things where they're like the wireless and they go in your ears and everything's perfect with them and all that kind of shit.
uh-huh.
And you carry them around like a little box that looks like a dental floss box, but recharges them a bunch of times or some shit. I've seen those
Right.
for like 50 cents
Yeah, I
or
think
like
that's
$3 on
I'm
some of
pretty
the
sure that's Timu.
advertisements.
Is it a fucking like almost a caricature of a Chinese chick advertising it?
Yeah,
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 that's Timu. That's the one. Why are we
that's the
not
one.
selling
Okay,
these? They're only $1.54 for a
yeah,
stupid
that
headset.
is definitely some sort of scam. There's no question in my mind.
Yeah, yeah. That's why and there's a fucking shitload of ads for it, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this is real. That is way beyond too good to be true.
You say it was Timu?
Yeah, TEMU.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. It might just be an American thing. So
Yeah, yeah. They might be just trying to fleece Americans at this point.
no, fleece
I
American.
assume it's a fucking. It's got to be a fucking Chinese company. Because, dude, just the over-the-top fucking, like, it literally seems like a caricature of a fucking like a Chinese lady, strong fucking heavy accent, dude. Like bitching that they're not selling these things at $1.55 a pop. for wireless Bluetooth headsets
Yeah.
or earbuds or whatever.
And you're like, because there's no way you're selling real, actual wireless earbuds for $3 that are going to work
Shipping
for more than a
included.
day.
Free shipping, dude. Yeah. I'm like, there's no way this isn't some weird shitload of money, not deliver anything, and then disappear scam.
Somehow thing, yeah. Like the place that fucking, the Cream City or whatever, where I've just, like, never heard from them again.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see, but again, there's too good to be true, and then there's just fucking, this is just over the top, too ridiculous.
Yep.
To even be possible. Like, even China cannot produce shit this fucking cheap.
They can try, I mean...
Yeah. Yeah. They advertise, like, this little fucking portable washer, like washer-dryer, not dryer, but like a washer. That's like a little pop-up thing, and it says something about using blue light to wash. I don't know what the fuck that means. But they're like, yeah, this is only $6.
Well, it sounds futuristic, so then, yeah, of course we'll do it.
Dude, it's fucking pretty comical, dude. You're just like, what the fuck is going on, dude? And you know people are gonna do it. So.
Said you wouldn't do it. Sorry, just made me think of that fucking song by the guy that went off and become like the game show host du jour. Sugar Ray.
Oh.
Oh, you
Name
guys know
something.
Sugar Ray? He did I Just Want to Fly.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
He's the rock guy that went off and suddenly just started hosting like all these game shows. He's just like, it was like one day he was like, you know, rocking, the next day he's wearing a fucking tuxedo and like being like, that's the correct answer and here's your prize.
Yeah, well, I know he cleaned up on fucking musical Jeopardy. That dude actually has a fucking. He was
Really?
definitely a music nerd, dude. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Dude, the singer from Sugar Ray, dude. What the fuck? I can't remember his fucking name.
Isn't Cheech Marin also supposed to be like super fucking like intelligent?
Yeah, it could be.
I have no idea who you're
Oh,
talking
Mark
about.
McGrath. That's the name. Mark McGrath.
Really? Okay, weird. Yeah, it was just
he
like a
went on
weird.
Music Jeopardy several fucking years ago, dude, and fucking was kicking everybody's ass, dude.
Nice.
So I had to use
it's
a
interesting.
earlier
Go ahead.
today. I had to use the bathroom at McDonald's, and there were Pokemon cards all over the bathroom.
That's a normal thing to find in the bathroom.
I guess so. I suppose, especially at Walmart, or especially if it's like close to Walmart.
They don't have any toilet paper in the stall. I choose you, Pikachu.
Yeah, I've never seen this before, and I thought, wow, I'm taking a picture.
That's a normal thing that you want a picture of. You know, you're like, what's that? Random poop. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Karaoke. Oh, it was Rock and Roll Jeopardy, but whatever. Music Jeopardy, whatever. Three-time champion of Rock and Roll Jeopardy. Yeah. He beat Dave Mustaine and fucking Gary Delvate from the Howard, so Baba Booey. Went up against Dave Mustaine and Baba Booey and beat them.
Huh. Yeah, from what I hear, Cheech Marin is like super fucking smart too. Like he went on Jeopardy at one point and was like blowing everyone else out of the fucking water.
Oh, like the Celebrity Jeopardy shit.
Yep, apparently so.
So I don't know. Sounds about right. Celebrity Jeopardy.
All right. Yeah, it says won the first Celebrity Jeopardy tournament in 1992. And 2010 beat Anderson Cooper and Aisha Tyler. Yeah. Yeah, considering all the weed he must have smoked, especially early on in his life. Pretty amazing, dude. He's retained anything. Any information.
Hey, you know, who needs to retain information? Who are you complaining about? Fucking knowledge?
No,
Silly.
it's fucking amazing that he did.
Yeah, no.
Fucking,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like even more impressive that fucking Cheech Marin, the fucking original fucking pothead duo, Cheech and Chong, that guy is beating is taking all comers in fucking Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yep, that guy is the one that has. I don't think Chong is as smart, though. I think Chong is kind of fucking dumb, from what I understand.
Yeah. That's pretty on brand, I think. Not as dumb as he made. Yeah. Well, he did. Dude, they really fucking entrapped that motherfucker to send him to prison, though, dude. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, they sent him the fucking weed pipes, and then we're like, you're going to jail now, bitch. And you're like, what the fuck?
No, it was a thing where, like, they were basically going in, and this guy's like, okay, I want to buy it here, but I want you to ship it to this state where I live, which was, again, against the rules, and they fucking knew it. But he just kept coming back, and I'm finally like, fine, whatever, we'll do it. And it was, an undercover guy. So he got arrested for it and fucking went to prison.
Jesus. You gotta be a pretty shitty human being to want to fucking put Chong in prison, of all people.
Yeah.
He's one of the most benign, people I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I was pretty shocked after hearing the story. I'm like, how do you not get off on entrapment, dude? Like, they said no to it a bunch of fucking times. And then just because they're tired of fucking you harassing them, they're like, fine, whatever. Like, seems like you'd try it once, and if they fucking said no, that's against the law, like, it should be pretty much fucking done.
I don't know this story. Who did this?
So Tommy Chong was running his own sort of like company, selling like bongs and shit, and then he also was starting to get into like selling like celebrity branded weed stuff, like, you know, it's Tommy Chong's weed strain, smoke it up, yeah, you know, good old stuff like that. And basically the Fed set him up by getting him to ship some bongs across state lines.
Yeah, like specifically to something that was specifically illegal.
Yeah, so that they could get him for that, federally illegal. Because they really couldn't do much to him because he was in a state where it was, you know, technically considered legal, so there wasn't a lot they could do there.
But yeah, they kept going back and going back until they were finally just like, fine, whatever. Which, again, obviously should have continued saying no matter how dude was. But again, it seems like once they've initially said no, that's against the law or federal law or whatever, that should have been the fucking end of the sting or whatever.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
From everything I've been hearing about feds nowadays, it sounds on brand to me.
Yeah, it is basically, yeah.
Oh, it's not surprising they did it. I'm just like surprised that like it went to fucking, trial and it wasn't thrown out for entrapment or whatever.
Well,
but he was very popular in prison. They treated him really, really well. They were all like, it's Tommy Chong! He was treated with a lot of respect. They didn't beat him up or hurt him or make him do weird sex shit.
Yeah, that's why I said not in the bad way. Not in the way you don't want to be popular in prison.
Yeah. there's definitely things you don't want to fucking do not want to be. Yeah, you do not want to be like the prison hole.
Okay. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, feds. I got.
Keep that in mind.
Every now and then I'm watching clips of recent events with the FBI and then CIA and like brought in for questioning, and like the level of incompetence is either massive or the corruption is absolutely intense. It's hard to say. It's either incompetence or maliciousness, and I'm like, yeah, all these organizations need to go. CIA, FBI, they need to either get.
Yeah, I think I just saw a thing where the CIA admitted to colluding with the former government in trying to go against Donald Trump's campaign.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, like there was a thing about that I saw on, recently. It was a Tim Pool article header, so like or title. So I don't know what your opinion is on Tim Pool, but like how accurate his reporting is. So I don't know how real that is or not because it is Tim Pool.
Tim Pool is okay. Yeah. I mean, like he's a little hyperbolic and like he seems to love to use the term Civil War.
Oh yeah, no, he sells food buckets.
Yeah, he sells food buckets and stuff, and he keeps talking about Civil War. I'm like, we get it, man. We get it. You're a bit on the upset side. I get it, man. But I don't. He's good overall. I guess
he tends to exaggerate things, so that's why I'm saying like I don't know.
Sorry. After the Eliza Blue thing, dude, I'm not giving him any benefit of the fucking doubt, dude. He fucking sucks, dude.
Fair enough.
He's an insincere prick, dude.
Oh, sure. Like, look, it's a level of like, you may be an insincere asshole, but to what extent? Or like, how much can I tolerate? Because like, it's the same thing with like people who are narcissistic. They're assholes. But it's like sometimes you need a narcissistic asshole to get the job done. It's like Donald Trump. He might be a narcissistic asshole, but I'd rather him be in charge than anyone else. So it's just like, know where your limits are and how much bullshit can you tolerate. Like Elon Musk, I don't trust him worth a damn, but I like what he's been doing so far. Granted, I don't like because he has been kicking some people off the platform again, and I don't like it, especially the people that in particular, because it's like these are people we all universally agree with essentially. Because there's one guy, I think he's a Polish guy or something, and he's been covering all the stuff going on right now in Sweden. Or not right now, but recently it's been happening in Sweden. Because we have a bunch of world leaders meeting up because they're trying to come up with a plan on what to do. Because the shit's hitting the fan. And people are getting pretty upset.
Yeah, the normies are starting to realize what's going on.
And we're talking like the level of like a Nuremberg 2.0. That's how big they're saying the things could be. Because people are getting good and upset. I mean, hell, just the other day, Trudeau had this... there was this video of Trudeau that got memed to oblivion, where he said, "I didn't force anyone to get the vaccine." And then there's all these clips of him saying,
"Are you can't fucking saying what?
You didn't hear this? Oh, it was all over the internet." Justin Trudeau said he didn't force anyone.
You literally passed laws that did just that, homie. What the fuck you talking about?
So yeah, exactly. And so there was an article that came out that famously said, "Is Justin Trudeau Canada's first ever psychopathic prime minister?" I saw that and I thought,
apparently, man.
Oh my god.
He's definitely one, and I don't know if he's been the first because I'm not familiar with your history. But if there hasn't been any previous ones, he is definitely the first.
We've had lots of world leaders, narcissistic assholes, and that kind of stuff. We've never had a Trudeau like this. Never. Even his air quotes father, the previous Trudeau, was not very well liked by the end of his term. But even he never did half the shit that this Trudeau is doing. So he is the most hated leader, and apparently most hated world leader in the world.
Yeah, no, he's fucking evil, man.
Even in France, Exactly. Well, even in France, when they have all those protests and like the way the police are behaving, if people are asked like who's worse, Macron or Trudeau, they'll all say, "Oh yeah, Trudeau's worse." So it's like the world understands. Like France is devolving into absolute chaos right now over the executive order that Macron used to force the age of retirement up by 2 years. I think it's like 62. It's going to be now 64. Now, normally people wouldn't be protesting over this, but in order to happen, he used a law or whatever to give him executive power to pass it through without any debate. In other words, he's using all the powers imaginable to say, we do this now. It's like, and no one has a choice in the matter. This is what's happening. Now, that's a very rare thing that should only be used on very rare occasions, but he's doing it now. And he's going to probably use it for everything else that he wants to push through, which is why everyone's protesting. It's not the retirement thing. Nobody cares about that. It's the fact that he's doing this right now.
Yeah, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and so that's what's happening.
That's a guy who knows he's not going to have power in a minute.
I mean, you would think so, but we'll see, because like it's the same thing. Like you guys, I'm sure you already talked about Joe Biden saying he's going to run again. He's going to run for re-election.
Yeah, he keeps claiming.
Well, he just did. He just did say he's going to do it, and everyone's like, yeah, but why? And I think it's because nobody cares at this point. Because during the last election, they essentially got away with it.
Nobody's going to trust that it matters who you vote for this election. Yeah.
Exactly. So they know that it doesn't matter if you believe him or don't believe him or whatever else. He doesn't care. Nobody cares. Everyone knows at this point that it's over and done with. So they're going to say whatever. It doesn't matter. Like Trudeau knows he's not going to win the next election. He doesn't care because look at the commission going on over the interference in our last election with the Chinese money. It's like, and he appointed essentially a family friend to run the whole investigation. It's like, well, that's a clear corruption. He doesn't care, and he's still going forward with like, if there's any conflict of interest, the guy has to recuse himself from the whole thing. This guy has 4 conflicts of interest, and Trudeau's still going forward with it.
Wasn't he literally his neighbor or something?
Yeah. It's his neighbor. He's a family friend. His kids and Trudeau's kids go to the same school, and they're skiing buddies. So when they go skiing, they go to like neighboring cabins. They go on the same ski trips. They still do all that stuff. That's 4 conflicts of interest. The guy can't be allowed to do it, and he's going forward with it. On top of all that, the other thing that happened here recently in Canada is that we have an ethics commission that is supposed to investigate things that are like ethic corruption and all that. Well, apparently, the woman in charge of the ethics commission, well, she's like an in-law to a Liberal Party member. So it's like, well, she can't. She has to be neutral. She can't be a member of any party, even have like a family member, not a family member, but as like your husband can't be this or that, and her husband is a member. So it's like that's a conflict, or something. Yeah. So she can't be on there. So she at least stepped down, but now the ethics commissioner has no one in charge. No one's running the ethics commission. So that means no one can look into Justin Trudeau's ethics violations. So while there's no one at the wheel, he pretty much can do whatever he wants, which is what he's doing. So that's why you're going to hear a lot of crazy shit coming from Canada, because no one can tell him he can't do it because there's no ethics commissioner right now.
Well, haven't they already found him guilty of all kinds of violations anyway? And
yeah, he was
fucking happened.
Yeah, he was found guilty of 2 other ethics violations. One, insider information, where he gave information about all the government changes that they were doing to policies and stuff. He notified a company called SNC Lavalin, which is an engineering company, and they got information about all the changes that Trudeau was going to implement for businesses and all that, and so they already implemented all the changes and stuff. So that's a clear violation of ethics. That's like insider information. We're going to pass these laws, and it's going to take you time to adjust and get ready for those laws. Oh, but this company's already made all those changes. How? Oh, because Trudeau gave them insider information. So yeah, that was the one thing they were found guilty of, or Trudeau was found guilty of on the ethics. The second one was he took a vacation to what was called Billionaire Island, the Aga Khan. That's where all these big billionaires came over there, and they paid for his flight. And the other thing is that when Trudeau went on this trip, normally you're supposed to have security to come with you because you're a world leader. All the security were told to stay home. He went there by himself with his family. No security detail, no nothing. No one could monitor him and make sure that he's not taking in information or whatever else. And so that's what happened. And so like that was a clear violation right there. So that was the second violation. But what made people all upset about that is because what was the results? Because you have to remember, the last time something like this happened was with a prime minister was a guy called Jean Chrétien, a Frenchman, which is part of the reason why I hate him so much. But turns out he was taking,
reasonable.
Yeah, it's a reasonable response. But he took in money from China. It was clearly a bribe thing. So while the ethics commission was looking into him, before they could come to the results, he stepped down as prime minister. So he was about to be the first ever prime minister to get an ethics violation, but he stepped down before then. And then we fast forward to Trudeau. Trudeau didn't step down. He kept the ethics violations. He just kept going with it. And then we had there was going to be a third ethics violation. God, what was it? I can't remember what it was. We've had so many scandals with Trudeau. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Hard to keep track.
It is hard to keep track. Well, like for instance, we're so sensitive about race issues here in Canada. Like if any politician found out that if you did blackface in your past, they'd step down because they wouldn't want the shitstorm from all the bad publicity. Trudeau stayed. He was found multiple times doing blackface. And he's done it so many times he can't remember, which means that there's probably more shit that he did while in blackface because he's done it so many fucking times. But yeah, he stayed. I'm like, how is it that someone who's so incompetent, with so many illegal things done in his past, how is he still there? The only answer is he's a psychopath. That's it. A psychopath is the only one that would sustain this. So
I remember when I don't know, a presidential hopeful would have like a sex scandal and he'd be like, all right, I'm dropping out of the race, or I'm fucking stepping down from my position. They just don't do it now. They just don't do it anymore. No matter what it is, fucking people just don't bother fucking like, no, I'm not quitting. Yeah, no, I should, but no, I'm not going to. And you can't make me.
See, there's a certain level of
it's fucking psychopathic.
Like, there's a certain level of integrity I have for someone like that. Like, if they say, yeah, they're going to try and use it as a cudgel to try and shut me up and all that kind of stuff. If it's not that big a deal, it's like, okay. It's like, look at Trump and the whole grab him by the pussy thing. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, that sounds kind of a shitty thing to do, but at the same time, it's like, it's not that big a deal. I mean, if you're filthy rich and women are just throwing themselves on you, it's like, well, I mean, is he wrong?
Yeah, and even in that situation, he's like, no, they'll let you do it. You're famous or whatever. Like, again, he described it as a consensual thing.
Well, yeah. And truth be told, yeah, that's what would have happened. So, it is consensual, so... Yep.
Yeah.
Politics is an interesting game right now. I see all the shit going down, and I'm like, I don't know how this happened. I don't know why it's happening. It's very interesting, but politics is the last thing you want to be interesting.
That is true.
Yeah. Boring politics is best politics, for sure.
Yeah.
That is going to have to agree with you on that one there, for sure.
I would like it better if the debate's being had is like renovating an airport or not. I think that should be the most heated debate that should be in politics, not this stuff about like corruption and Chinese interference and all this. All this has to stop. Like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And, speaking of like global conflicts and stuff, I had a theory today when I was coming home from the gym, and part of me wonders because I know that China doesn't have the means to win a war. They don't. I know they say that they do, but they don't. their population's is in shambles. They've severely been hindered by the whole stuff going on with the pandemic, and now that they've essentially ended all the restrictions and now everyone's getting out, you have more variants of COVID than things that we've ever seen before, because when you've locked down as hard as you have, you didn't build up an immunity. Because you didn't build up an immunity, it's like once the people get out there, it's worse than ever. So yeah, they are hindering something fierce, and they don't have the military, they don't have the means, they just can't do it. But everyone in the media keeps talking about how awful, how powerful China is. I thought, and not to mention, if you look at how they've been portraying like the U.S. military, it's like we got all these trans things, and it's all about like we have gender affirming care, we have all this weird stuff. Oh, walk a mile in her shoes, so we put all the military in high heels. Like, this is so demasculating.
That
it's
was
so
fucking so dumb.
It is, and because we just had the Women's Recognition Day or something like that, so it's all in the news recently. Because the Liberal Party, there was this video here in Canada with the Liberal Party doing like a conga line, and they're all wearing like high heels, all the guys. I thought, this is embarrassing. All this is embarrassing, and not to mention, there's all this talk about like if a war were to happen, there'd be like a massive cyber attack. Information would be hard to come by. Part of me was like, I think they just want to make an excuse to take away everything from America. Like, let's say, I think that they would arrange it so that if a war were to be declared and the war's supposed to happen, then there's a massive cyber attack. We don't know what's happening over there. Not a clue. And it'll be like a media blackout for quite some time. We'll never know what happened, kind of thing. It's a massive battle. And then they'll come back and then they'll say, like, we lost the war, China won. China's now the new world superpower. How? When did this happen? We don't know. There was a media blackout. Was there any footage? I don't know. I think
you know what? As crazy as that sounds, I could see that being something that was attempted.
I think that, yeah. Well,
I don't think they realize like how quickly, like, Americans would be like, strap up, we're fucking going to war. Just like how fast that would happen. Like if they were trying to just say like, well, China's in charge now.
Yeah, well, I think
you'd be like a lot of people. I think what they would find out is there'd be about 700 million armed people that said no.
I think they're trying to change the world dynamic without firing a bullet. I think that was the idea.
I don't think it's going to work out for them.
No, well,
demoralize the fucking country, any free country.
Yeah, well, they want. Yeah, because that's the idea. They want to demoralize the country. They want to demoralize people, so that way, and lose faith in your country and in your population, so that way you'll just let them do it. Essentially, that's what they're going for. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I saw this earlier. There was a thing from the UN talking about like the goals that they want to do for the New World Order. And you might want to give that a read, but it's quite fascinating, and it sounds kind of right to me. So that's the idea. So yeah, I think they don't really, because even at America's weakest, I think they still win any war. Absolutely.
Yeah, the entire rest of
there are more guns here than people.
The entire rest of the fucking world could beat us, dude.
Yeah.
What was the one guy's comment? It would be like there were guns popping out behind every blade of grass.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you can't take over the U.S. It just doesn't work. It's like it's too big and too well armed.
Exactly. So and so they're going to try like legal means to try to take away people's guns, like and that's the other thing, because that's a constant battle, but it's going to get worse because this is what they want to do. So obviously, don't give up your guns. Get more guns if you can.
While you can.
While you can. Well, and here in Canada, and I didn't realize this because I thought it was Sweden, but apparently Canada is the second biggest gun owners in the country, or in the world. I didn't think that. I thought it was like, I could have sworn it was like Russia or something, but no, it's Canada. So go figure. There's more gun people here than you realize. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the smartest idea that whoever thought of it has come up with.
Yeah. The only difference is it's like we have a great deal more restrictions on our guns here than you guys have down there in the States. I would like it if that would be alleviated, just because I think your guys' method works a lot better. But yeah. Not to mention we've gotten silly. Like our government is pushing hard, very hard, to get our guns taken away. Very hard.
Oh, they're doing the same here right now.
Oh yeah, well that's the idea. They need to take away the guns because
they put those guys in prison for making business cards.
Yeah.
The business cards that had an outline of the part that you would use to alter a gun into a machine gun. So suddenly they get to just put that guy in prison because they're selling a business card that has that on there. It's like, but they didn't actually sell the part, did they? You know, like, so technically not actually doing anything illegal.
Well, yeah, and it's like you almost need to give up on the gun debate at this point because, like, 3D printers are a thing. People are smart. They know how to do things. They can make guns now if they wanted to.
Oh, I've talked to a few people. It's like $4 to make a gun. They'll fire one bullet.
Well, and not to mention, like, any buyback program that they try to implement, it's going to fail because you hear the story about the guy with the 3D printing guns and how much money he made off of that with the gun buyback program. Oh, I love this story. So what happened was that in the States, they were doing a gun buyback program. And so what he did is he 3D printed as many guns as he could. And then he brought them over there. He had like a huge box full of these 3D printed guns. And so here's the thing. It's like what they do is when you bring in your gun, they're going to give you like a Visa credit card, like gift card or something. And it's anywhere between $150 to $50. And the guy said, okay, there's too many here. We're only going to give you like the $50 cards. And so it's like for all the ones he has there. He said, fine, good. And so what he did is he walked further down because there was a lineup of guys trying to deposit them, and he bought them. He gave them like the cards. He bought other people's actual guns, and then he sold those. And so he made a fucking killing because a lot of the smaller antique guns they're only going to get $50 for it. So you got to give them $100. So he just he made a lot of money, and he tripled his gun stock with actual guns instead of 3D printed ones. It was so bad, in fact, he came back with more 3D printed guns. It's like, yeah, no, we can't do this. So it's like, it costs I think it was like $10 for a spool of the plastic that you use to make these things. It's like, for $10, he managed to make I don't know, a couple thousand, and he got a bunch of new guns. So like, dude, like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, 3D printers are gonna stop this whole gun debate.
Smart guy.
I'll say.
I like that. You know what? And I like that he took advantage of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, dude. Didn't they pass a law against ghost guns or whatever, like that kind of shit?
Yeah, but how? Yeah, but you can't stop it. That's
yeah,
the thing.
I know. That's why it was pretty fucking funny.
Well, and the thing is, if you have the legal right to just build your own gun.
Exactly. Well, you see, and that's the other thing that's weird.
Trying to not have that be the case, but yeah.
I mean,
I mean, like right now, as it stands, you can just literally just from scratch build yourself any kind of gun you want.
Yeah.
Anytime you want. It can even be an automatic. You don't have to register it. There's nothing. It's like if you manufacture your own gun, it's perfectly legal.
Well, you see,
until 3D printing came out and people could just do that. You know what I mean?
Well, like look in Japan, the previous prime minister who was shot dead with a homemade gun. It was just using like a bunch of like cylinders and tubes with some thing, and the guy just made his own gun. Because in Japan, they also have a limit on because you can't actually have a gun in Japan, so that people are just building their own.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I don't know if you saw the video the other day, but the new prime minister, someone tried to kill him too with like a pipe bomb, and his bodyguard deserves a raise because what he did is he saw it, eyes wide open, and it's the most wide open I've ever seen a Japanese man's eyes. But anyway, he kicked the pipe bomb away, and he had like this suitcase that folded open like a riot shield, which is pretty cool. He just sort of protected the prime minister. I thought, wow,
Damn.
yeah.
The Japanese always have the best compacts.
Oh, they know what they're doing with that shit. I didn't know you could do that, but yeah, no, he had a suitcase and it turned into a shield. Fuck, okay, go for it.
Yeah, it's like straight out of a fucking anime.
Oh yeah, well, see, the Japanese, like that's the
Fucking
thing.
Bond movie. Yeah.
The thing you worry about the Japanese, they're very intuitive. They know how to do this kind of stuff. So if they wanted to, they can get creative. Like, if you ever put together a model kit, those things may be like little toys, but they're marvelously complicated. You're giving this to children? Like, okay, all right, no wonder you're beating us. That and they have a intense work ethic, which I think they need to kind of ease back on, because I appreciate work ethic, but man, kids are getting overwhelmed in Japan.
Yeah, Suicide Forest is filling up pretty fucking quickly, dude.
Oh yeah, and I saw a video the other day. It was like with this town, and apparently like they had this high school, and because of the low birth rates, the high school had their last graduation. It was just these two kids. They were the last to graduate from the school, from a whole town.
Damn.
And I'm like, that is sad. And yeah, there was like teachers and all that kind of stuff, all now without a job because it's their last year as teachers. Like, there's no kids to teach, like from an entire town. Like, god damn. So like and that's why like Japan said like the number one concern that they have, it's not global affairs, none of that stuff. It's their low birth rates, and so they're saying we need to get people having kids. So. But you know, I saw I think it was on Joe Rogan, where they had a guy in there. He was talking about birth rates and stuff, because we have very similar stuff here in Canada and the U.S. We don't talk about it as much, but yet the birth rates here is plummeting as well. It's not good because millennials.
Oh yeah, well this is the first generation that's going to have lower IQ than the previous ones.
Yeah, lower IQ, but they think they're overly educated, but like lower IQs and all that. Low, they're just not smart because they got education in like gender studies and stuff. Useless educations. Not to mention, and not to mention, I mean, we're overly educated, but not in anything useful. So like, no one's in trade schools and stuff. So there's a huge problem there. But yeah, I mean, we have the same problem. Like, we need to start having kids. Oh, and I mean, like, a lot of kids. And the guy I was listening to, he was saying, like, that millennials pretty much got us into this problem. And unfortunately, millennials are the ones that need to get us out of it. And...
Oh, well, good fucking luck.
Well, here's the way that I see things. Or one of, like, my personal views. Part of the problem is the dating scene. Because women, unfortunately, because of dating apps, they're not dating within their age brackets. They're not. They're dating older guys, and best expression is that it's like which sounds better, like date someone of your own age, and what can that guy provide? Well, he can provide you Netflix and maybe some ramen noodles. You know, or maybe play some video games in his parents' basement or something because he can't afford to do anything. Or do you want to date someone in his 30s, has a house, a vehicle, can take you out to the pool, take you out to a movie? You mean that sounds a lot more interesting than the alternative. And so, unfortunately, a lot of women are dating guys that are older. But these guys that are older, millennial generation, my generation, if you will, I mean, none of them are wanting to have kids. So we need to tell these guys to start knocking up these young women. And that's just that, because there's more. The next generation, one, they're not going to be dating, and two, we don't have the numbers for that. So the millennial guys just need to start knocking up some young women. That's the hard truth of the whole thing. And so, like, you know, I need to put pressure on myself to start dating, because that's the way it goes. But then, you know, also need to get a house, which is also impossible because here in Canada the housing market is absolutely insane. I saw a video the other day of a guy who was talking about how, like, he has two businesses. He's very successful. He can buy houses, but because his business fluctuates, because that's just the way businesses are. Banks aren't willing to sign up on a loan for you to buy a house. And so it's like two successful businesses, but you fluctuate here and there. And because of that fluctuation within markets, can't get a loan, can't get a house. The guy's like I don't know, he's going to be in his 40s soon. It's like, what more do you want? I make good money, I can do what I want, but they just won't approve it. And that's the way it is for most people. You can't buy a house. On top of all that, I look in my city, in my area here. We have plenty of houses that are about to become condemned because no one could afford to buy the house. Like normally, a young person would buy a fixer upper, fix it up, make it look good, spend time, invest your time, and then sell it. Then you have the ability to get a better house, get to move up the marketplace, if you will. They can't do it, and so all these houses that should have been bought by young people are just being allowed to languish, and they're like disintegrating. No one's taking care of them. The whole thing right now, because I was looking up on housing markets and stuff here, they want these places to tear up so that way they can tear them down in these various different neighborhoods and blocks and start putting up apartment buildings, condos.
They want to build ghettos.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and that's just it. Because when you build up, like who lives in apartments? Lower class people. And those kind of people often have, various different substance abuse issues, various different mental illnesses, and all that kind of stuff. And so when you build up apartments, it devalues your home because you're living next to junkies and shit. It doesn't. Yep. This is why. Yeah, that's BlackRock's plan in particular. So like, the push right now.
BlackRock wants to essentially own all the property and have everyone renting.
Yep.
From them.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Oh, it's hard. I don't know what to say. It's going to take a long time to get over this, to find a suitable way of moving forward. I mean, we have to get the people out of the way first. I mean, I guess start locally with the politicians and move up. I know a lot of people think, like, government's not the way. It's like, well, they're the ones who are doing all this. We need to get them out of the way. Like, I hear a lot of people right now who have become very black-pilled. It's like, you can't fix it. You can't do nothing. You might as well just give up. And like, yeah, well, that's how they want it in the first place. I mean, these people...
Yeah, they want us demoralized as well.
These people are going to push money and make sure that they can get what they want, right? We need to fight back. And unfortunately, giving up is not an option. Like my mom, who was a very progressive, liberal, kind of socialist even kind of person, and she's been aware of all the shit that's been going on, and she's all black pilled. She's like, can't do nothing, can't do this, can't do that. It's like, I can't afford to do that. We as a people can't afford to let this happen. We have to do something, and so we have to do what we can, and we start small. Make sure we get the right people in charge, the right politicians. Make sure all this kind of stuff. Make sure our values go forward. That's it. That's the best we can do. Because, we're just people. We're just individuals. We don't run this shit, but we can find people who can. And that's my rant for the day. Don't fucking give up. I don't take the black pill.
What is that? There's a Train song with a bunch of like lyrics about that. Like, I won't give up if you don't give up, or something like that.
Oh, I thought it was going to be something about Jenk Spirit or something.
Well, who knows? Who knows? Yep. We're at a point where the ticks on the dog are bigger than the dog can continue to support. I think is a big problem with what's going on right now.
Yep. Yep. Sounds about right.
So, Stabby, I've been meaning to ask you. Are you following the recent Steven Crowder stuff?
I've been listening to some of it, and it's interesting. There's a lot of really weird bullshit around it.
Fuck, you're still giving him the benefit of the doubt, are you?
Benefit of the doubt? You mean by, like, I remember what I actually saw?
Yeah. Have you seen the video that is released of him?
I don't know. No. So the only thing I've heard is Dave Landau's accusations. I haven't seen any videos or anything else. So what I know is Dave Landau said he was not shouting out his dates and all some sorts of other shit. And I'm like, but I distinctly remember him specifically stating, like, Dave Landau's comedy tour dates, literally
so
every single episode that he was on. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't heard anything about the divorce and all that?
Oh, has he gotten divorced and stuff? No, see, this is new. I don't follow that much about Crowder.
Dude.
Like, I listen to his stuff occasionally. I don't.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm not like in bed with the guy. If he's actually doing some bullshit, like, hey, I'm interested.
Yeah, if you see the shit about his divorce and his fucking the video, I just watched it a couple hours ago, so it's got to be relatively new. The video that I assume she released, because the divorce started in 2021. It just barely got finalized.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And the video. I was trying to fucking find a fucking where the fuck it came from. It's nowhere available on YouTube that I could find. I mean, Candace Owens lit into about it and whatever, and that shit's fucking stupid because she's a bitch too. But yeah, the video was basically like him like mad that she while she was pregnant didn't want to go get the groceries or something, but then was also giving her shit for wanting to go get the groceries, and that would be leaving him without a car, and he couldn't go hang out with his friends, and he also said that somehow made him where he couldn't call his parents. It was a lot of fucking weird gaslighty shit, dude.
So weird gaslighting shit from who to who, though? I'm confused now.
From Crowder against his wife.
So he was basically keeping her from, like, seeing her parents or leaving the house or any of that kind of shit?
No, he was saying that basically simultaneously he was mad. Again, I'd have to rewatch it to get the exact shit, but what it seemed like to me was he was simultaneously mad that she didn't want to go get the groceries when she was pregnant, but also was mad that she was going to go get the groceries. And then I was like saying like, oh, now I can't go. You know, he was saying to her, if you do that, then I can't go with my friends and I can't call my parents. It was like, how do you not call your parents just because your car isn't there? It was really fucking weird shit, dude. It was really fucking creepy.
Yeah, that sounded weird.
Again, I was trying to find it before it, but yeah, the whole divorce shit and the fact that he...
Yeah, this is all stuff I've never heard of before, by the way. So, yeah, no, I've not heard that. That's pretty fucking whack.
Okay, so the first thing that happened recently within the last few days was him talking about it. And he was really lamenting the fact that in Texas, she was able to divorce him without his consent. Like, he seemed really upset about that fact.
That's weird.
Well,
that's more than a little creepy.
Fucking disturbing, dude. It's
dude.
I was like, why do you keep saying? Why the fuck?
I'm being sarcastic when I say that's weird. You realize that, right? Like, I'm not saying that that's weird. I'm saying, yeah, it's fucked up, but god damn, that's really fucking weird. That's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, no,
that's like what do you call it?
This is a good thing to say out loud. That you're mad that she can actually get
really, if that's something you think, which is bad enough, but like you genuinely think that's like legitimately reasonable, that's the kind of thing you think of inside your head. You should just keep that in the head and not out loud.
Yeah, and apparently I didn't know this, but I guess maybe it's because there are some states where you're supposed to fucking have to agree, like both of you have to agree to get divorced.
There's no states where you have to both agree to divorce.
Okay, all right. See, I heard that shit and I was like, really? Like, how the fuck is that still possible? Okay, so it's not. Okay, so that's bullshit. But dude, he seemed like, and I'm like, that's an incredibly psychopathic thing. Like, you're mad that she was able to not deal with your bullshit anymore. And again, the only video I've seen, like, it's really bad, but it is just the only thing I've seen that was a recording of him and her and him fucking gaslighting the fuck out of her.
Well, we all
So
knew he
him
was
still
probably gay, so
Yeah.
I can't imagine any sort of marriage he had would have been healthy. Like that his marriage is really fucked up and that he's like very controlling. Is it surprising? Because we've heard that, like that he's been super controlling of his employees and stuff like that, like forever.
Yeah.
That's been like a constant refrain. So yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me all that much. No, the last I heard was Dave Lando was making all sorts of accusations against Steven, but then they started with a bunch of stuff that wasn't true. So I was like, that's weird. I don't understand what's going on there, so I'm just gonna like fucking ignore it.
Yeah, no, it was okay. So you hadn't seen all the shit about it.
Yeah, and so that was the most recent thing. I think I'm like a week behind as far as like where his show is what I've seen and what I haven't. But I know that the Dave Lando's first complaint was that Steven Crowder like didn't shout out his shows. But like at the beginning of every episode, he was like, and here's Dave Lando's touring dates and places where you could see him. And at the end of every show, he would repeat them all. So I was like, because I knew that was true, and so I was like, well, that just makes Dave Landau look dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe there were dates that didn't get shouted out that also could have been shouted out. Yeah, like maybe he didn't shout out all the dates; he only shouted out some or something. But you need to clarify in some way that makes that clear.
Yeah, Landau's situation was a little fucking weird too, because it seems like, again, with the Crowder gay shit, it's like, okay, so you moved to Texas at his request, and then you left your wife and kid in Detroit, and basically just went back on the weekends, but only on the weekends you weren't doing comedy.
And also Jim Brewer
and a little weird.
Oh, what's that Italian guy? He's funny as fuck, but I can never remember his name because he's not a really super well-known comedian. But two fairly well-respected comedians, where like other comedians know who they are and would have a lot of respect for them, just joined Steven Crowder's show.
Yeah, I heard about the Brewer thing, and I can't imagine that ending well, to be honest with you. It's an odd pairing, but although Brewer's pretty laid back.
Brewer is extremely conservative and religious. I don't know if you know that, but
all right. Yeah,
he's also never done drugs, like, or at least very rarely had did them like a few times, and that was it. Like he was never like a super drug guy. He just looks like a stoner.
Yeah, I just can't imagine him putting up with Crowder's like that controlling shit. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I'm definitely interested in seeing that. Like I that is going to be
badly, I would imagine, but maybe not.
That is going to be very entertaining shit.
All right, but yeah, the Landau shit did seem kind of petty and fucking, yeah. But then and then the fucking divorce shit came out. He made that weird video. Candace Owens went after him, but you can ignore that shit because that's just her being a fucking cunt.
Well, I think that was a business move on their part. They wanted to get as much attention as they could, and they weren't getting it if he wasn't mentioning their name.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
I don't think that was any sort of malice or anything. I think that was just a business move on their part of like, hey, if we put our name in his mouth, everybody that follows Steven Crowder, which is several million, like 2 or 3 million followers, I think, at least, like that he has on YouTube. He's not a small channel.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, well, is he even doing YouTube anymore? Or has he switched over to Rumble?
He's doing both, but he's basically like flirting with disaster. Like, hey, fuck YouTube. I'm gonna say what I want to say. If they ban me, they ban me.
I gotcha. Okay. All right, but yeah, dude, that you can kind of ignore that the Candace Owens shit. It's fucking, yeah, again, attention grabbing shit on their part.
That's the thing is, if it wasn't Candace Owens, I would have had a lot more respect.
Let's say again. I'm sorry.
I said if it wasn't Candace Owens, if it had been anyone else but Candace Owens.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and I don't think he even mentioned her or the Daily Wire or any of that shit by name, but just said people were extorting him over his divorce or some shit like that. And I guess she's trying to insinuate that it was her that he was talking about. I guess I don't know. It's noise, dude.
Yeah.
But listen to his fucking thing on talking about the divorce and shit. It's really fucking weird. And if you see the video, I'll try to find it for you. But it was basically them talking like outside their house, and it looked like it was being filmed by like the Ring camera or something. But yeah, it reminded me.
Yeah, I mean, I've always Crowder's always
wife.
been fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like I love his humor. I like the comedy bits that he does on his channel. It's probably my favorite bit. And I like getting the news in a way that's like not fucking woke. Right. But like, you know, I also get that from fucking like you know, Glenn Greenwald too. So it's not like
yeah, it's not the exclusive place to get it or whatever.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm like what do you call it, a sycophant. It's just I thought it was strange. I thought you were talking about the Dave Landau stuff, and I'm like, I've seen some shit, and it doesn't really seem like it's all that much. Like it seems kind of like a nothing burger.
Yeah,
kind of like the Quarter Black Garrett and the Jared stuff. Like, there's a lot of people saying rumors of shit, but nobody with any actual like, hey, here's some evidence. Though I think this has gotten to the smoke there's fire thing.
Yeah. No, none of his former employees seem to, if they'll talk at all.
Yeah,
don't seem to have good things to say.
Yeah,
and I'm actually wondering, like, oh well, never mind.
He must have a really good NDA clause in his contract, because like nobody ever says damn thing about any of the shit that goes on with him at all, ever.
Yeah.
So that NDA must be iron fucking clad.
Yeah, Landau must not have signed it. I think that's what he was saying, right? That he didn't sign the NDA?
Here's the thing, though. You can't NDA somebody from talking about, like, abuse and stuff like that. If it violates labor laws, I'm pretty sure. Like, it gets into, like, territory where basically you'd have to sue them, and most courts would probably be like, well, we'll leave it up to a jury, and most juries are going to side with the guy that said, like, hey, he was violating my rights constantly and abusing his employees, and it was awful. Yeah. You know, like, I don't think they're going to side with you, buddy.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you're 5 minutes late, you don't get paid for the day thing. I wonder if that was actually fucking true. That's fucking
I've heard that. I never heard that about Crowder, but I've heard that from like a short on YouTube from a fucking labor lawyer. And I was going to wonder, like, aside from Crowder, just in general, what psychotic, how fucking stupid do you have to be as an employer to think that you can just not pay somebody if they're 5 minutes late for work?
Yeah.
Like, there's no state in the union whatsoever where that would ever be remotely legal. Like, it just doesn't, it's so far beyond the pale.
But yeah, Landau's claim was like that was one of the sticking points of why he decided to leave, was because he wrote back and said,
that's why I brushed off what Landau was saying, was because of the stupid things he said first.
Yeah.
He should have led with that.
Yeah. Landau is, I don't know what the fuck's going on with that, but he seems like a pushover, because apparently he left because Cumia was paying him like $100,000 a year, apparently, to be with Compound Media. And and Landau should never be talking about how much fucking money he's making on, you know what I mean, like online ever. But he's it was only like, apparently, if I'm understanding what he said correctly, he basically left Compound Media and Cumia and that, went to work for Crowder for $1,000 more a year. And I cannot imagine that's fucking nuts, right? Like that, or maybe not. Maybe he thought it was more exposure and all that shit.
I don't know. How much was he thinking per year on the Crowder?
Like $100,000.
That's a pretty good salary.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I mean, if he thought it was more exposure and shit, I can understand that, because that probably would be, because Compound Media is, not doing fucking Crowder numbers. You know what I mean? So if you thought that, and it would get more gigs because they're promoting it and that kind of shit, it kind of makes sense. Then apparently when he was like insisting that he moved to Texas, it was only a bump of like maybe four. Like he only offered him like a couple few grand.
Yeah.
To just again leaving his family in fucking Detroit. Yeah, I don't know, dude. That's some weird shit. But again, secondary to that, the fucking divorce shit is just seems like it's going to be really fucking insane. I mean, it's already pretty fucking crazy. And I've only seen him talking in one video of, again, the video, I really saw myself in the place of his wife and him as my ex.
Ah, okay. Where's the video of him like going off about stuff? Like, is it all in his shows?
It seemed to be like him releasing it from his channel, so I would assume it's.
Because I'm only just seeing his regular shows on Rumble.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely. I'll try to find the. You don't like the Revenge of the Sith guys, but like they were definitely playing the shit on theirs.
I don't like their show. Their show drags on a lot for me.
Yeah, they definitely.
And some of the stuff, like the two guys themselves, seem fine. Like I don't have anything against those two guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. They seem like I'd be happy to have them at a barbecue. I'm sure they'd be great company. You know, like I mean, they just get a little too into the interpersonal shit for me because it's like. Do I really want to fucking get involved in like the weird backstabby bullshit that people do? Not really, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be interesting if it's crazy. Like I have a feeling that the Crowder stuff, if that's what you're talking about, I bet you there's some way crazier shit that's going to come out sooner or later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's going to get super fucking crazy.
Like it's going to get weird, and like he's not going to have his kids, and people are going to be like, Crowder's done.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, there's going to be a certain segment that's always going to stick by him, but I don't know, man. It's pretty fucking damning. So yeah, I'll try to find the shit where it's just the clips, dude, and fucking post it for you. But yeah, again, everything is fucking Candace Owens. Every time I try to fucking search for it, it's all the shit about him and Candace Owens, and I'm like, I don't fucking care about any of that shit. I want to see the fucking clip of him pissed off that that his wife could just divorce him without his permission.
Yeah, that's really fucking creepy. That's a weird fucking sentiment.
I don't know. That actually.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. That actually sounds. I was just gonna say that sounds more normal to me. Mostly because when you get a divorce, in some cases, you can also add things onto it. Like for instance, like you might think that you're because it's comes off as unusual. You also have to remember, like when it comes to women, they have a bunch of chemical imbalances that could happen. Like if she's pregnant or whatever, like she could love you intensely like one moment, and then the next moment she can hate you intensely to the point of this kind of stuff. And sometimes you have to wait for things to pass.
I'm well aware, Samaj. I've experienced it personally, and I'm telling you, I felt for her. I empathize way more with her.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I mean, but sometimes it's like you have to separate like which part is the chemical and which part is the actual normal. Because is she still pregnant, or is she pregnant or whatever? Because
no, that was part of the issue in that.
Yeah,
video,
because
it was making it so disturbing.
Yeah, so that's the problem I have. Like, I've heard of guys just, and then like
I don't know if you're familiar with me in the show here, but I'm not a fan of women in general.
No, and I get that, but what I'm saying is like the no fault divorce thing. I think is absolutely insane, because usually, like whatever is going through someone's head at the moment, because at any given moment you can just get yourself divorced. I think that's dangerous. Not to mention. You have all the alimony, all that kind of stuff. It's like no one has any like the guy has no ability to prepare or get ready for something like that.
Well, it was probably initially a no-fault divorce meant that you didn't get any of that. And I bet you over time they were like, well, we want the no-fault divorce where we can just leave whenever we want without any reason. But we also want to take like half his stuff and get alimony and stuff. I bet you when it initially was introduced, like no fault was just like, all right, but you walk away with nothing.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the problem I have with all this, like, because that is probably what's going to happen. And not only that, the money, because the other thing, it sounds to me like he's getting all this money from Rumble. Well, she gets a percentage of that, so that means he's going to make half of what he's currently making. This is going to devastate him. He might not even have enough money to actually run his show at this point. It sounds more like
I don't know.
like because we all know the whole thing.
Again, he's in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
In
I mean, I know in Canada it's really bad. If you're familiar with Dave Foley at all.
In Texas, it's actually pretty bad too. A lot of the no fault divorcing can ruin your life, and that's exactly what it sounds like it's going to be. And it's all for like maybe she had a bad date. I don't know. It's hard to say.
On the other side of that argument, I would say, what if he's abusive, but he's so good at hiding it, you can't get any evidence, or she's abusive, and she, whatever. The one partner is really good at being abusive and hiding it, so now you can't divorce them because you don't have evidence that they've done something wrong. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well,
even though it's going to be fucked up for some people, I think it's better in the greater picture if people are allowed to just divorce each other. Let's cut down the murder rate.
I doubt heavily that the murder that it adds to the murder rate. What I'm saying is like it causes more harm than it ever does good.
No, I don't agree with that.
I can prove it to you, man. It does.
I don't think you can. I think what you're trying to compare monetary gains to people's
monetary is only one of them. You also have
suffering under physical abuse. It's not. There's no comparison to be made.
Okay, well, first of all, the majority of most of these no-fault divorces are usually not in. Okay, money might be one thing, but it's not because they're being abused. If that's the case, there would have been records, there would have been other kinds. But also, like there's also people like what the couple engages in risky behavior and all that. I mean, it's hard to say, but it rarely ever works out well for anyone, and it's often done on impulse. They're not thinking this through. Is what I'm getting at, and that's the average thing of these no-fault divorces, and it never ends well for anyone. It never does. It's never has. You're using the extreme case of what if he's abusive? What if it's all this?
But you're using the extreme case of they just decided because they were bored one day. I mean,
well, guess
that's
what?
not what's happening all the time either. Yeah, that's probably a very extremely rare case.
It's the majority of the cases.
Most divorces become because people just don't get along. Either one or the other is unhappy, or they're not getting along. That's generally how that works.
Who said relationships were easy? That's part of what goes on.
No, I'm not arguing that they are. I'm just saying you can't be like, all right, but now you two own each other and no one can leave. Like that's not a safe place to be for anybody.
It's only unsafe if it is unsafe. You're making the assumption that it is, not that it is. A lot of marriages are actually quite good. They just get bored after a while because they think marriage is exciting. It's not half the time. Half the time it's very boring. And then they feel that they're unsatisfied because his life is so boring. Because, it's so nice. My needs are taken care of and all that kinds. Life is boring. Because at the start of relationships, it's always exciting. And then they get bored. Yeah. And then they go on to...
that is a major issue. They want to fucking have that same level of excitement the whole fucking time.
You can add a cool down to a no-fault divorce and resolve a lot of that issue. As far as it being impulsive, be like, all right, no-fault divorce...
Yeah, but
you have to wait 60 days and then continue and then maintain that you still want it after 60 days or something like that. But you can still separate and live separately and all that kind of stuff.
I think that there should be like when divorces occur. Let's say one partner wants a divorce, the other partner doesn't want a divorce. Eventually, it's probably going to end up in divorce. And there has to be a certain time period, like maybe you need to be in separate homes. Make sure everything is done accordingly, so that way it's not like impulsive like that. Because when you do that, it's very devastating.
Yeah, if you're talking about walking into the courthouse and getting divorced like within a week, I can understand that being an issue where you want that to go over a longer period of time and maybe be tested.
Well, like
in some way, shape, or form, or something, but.
Well, it should be contested, and not to mention, like, what if your partner all of a sudden develop something like they're on some sort of medication and it fucks up with their brains and they get divorced that day because they're on some sort of new experimental medication, which does happen, by the way. Like there's a myriad of reasons why no fault divorce should never happen.
Oh, I know.
Never happen.
My friend developing extreme bipolar later in life is why his wife left him. Because he was a completely different person.
Yeah, and it could happen at any moment.
And I don't blame her for leaving him. I mean, I understand the whole like you made an oath thing, but like, try living with it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's horrible. You're an evil person. You signed up for sickness and health. You should be there and help out." Yeah, try it sometime. See how that really feels in the real life, and see what you think.
Yeah, I mean, marriage is a very difficult thing. It is, but I don't think that you should have the option to just immediately opt out at any given moment, because like you're both investing very heavily in each other. If one could just walk away and then take a whole whack with them, maybe even the kids or something.
Well,
like,
I mean, if you're arguing divorce laws, obviously we all agree that divorce laws are absolutely fucking insane.
Right, so we
just
shouldn't.
As far as like divvying up property and income and all that stuff, it makes no sense right now.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, and not to mention, I mean, like when you have cases like, let's say you're paying off for a house, and then you get divorced, and then your wife can take half of the house or whatever, and maybe even force you to sell it, or who knows what could happen. I mean, divorces are very messy, and I don't think making it easier is helping anyone. I think the divorce should be very hard, and it should be very difficult, and you should be able to think it through, not impulsively end it that day or within a week.
So,
I don't think
my issue is, and let me see if this is what you're talking about. I have a problem where only if it takes both people to agree to a divorce.
I never said that.
That's what I was talking about. So
yeah, well,
I kind of wondered if you and I were talking about different things entirely.
Look,
and that's why I was pointing this out. My main issue with the whole Steven Crowder thing is that he's saying both people should have to agree to the divorce.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's not about no fault divorce there. It's about that sounds like some weird, creepy Islamic shit where then you go throw some fags off the roof or something crazy.
If it was a crazy Islamic thing, then you can only get divorced if the man says it's okay to do so.
But I mean that's pretty close to the same thing. That amounts to the same thing. If the woman wants a divorce and the man doesn't, then she can't get a divorce, and vice versa. It's not about which gender the person is at that point.
Yeah, no. Well,
as long as one person can start the process of a divorce and get divorced, I'm okay with whatever hoops you want him to jump through.
Yeah, no.
I just don't want it to be where like, homie wants to leave his wife and she says no, so he can never get divorced.
No, I didn't say anything like that.
Look, so that's what I'm saying. I thought we were arguing completely opposite things. We're not actually arguing against each other. We're just.
I'm arguing. Look, if someone wants to get divorced, I think that there should be a process, and you should be able to go through it. I do not think it's safe or responsible to get it done quickly.
As just a random off the fucking. Because I got bored one day, or I had bad PMS. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think especially when like, let's say families involved, kids are involved, properties involved, money is involved, businesses are involved. A marriage.
I would like to see some sort of like therapy before anything else goes on.
Well, or at least give it a shot.
Yeah. I mean, they generally have you require the courts will generally require you to take some form of parenting, even if it's not a lot, like parenting courses.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like me and my ex were not even married, and when I went to get custody of it, we were both required to like attend like these, again pretty rudimentary, some form of parenting course.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I mean, like when you get married, there's always a percentage of the man's income that she can claim, and I think like that's bad. I think it should be a flat rate. I don't think it should ever be a percentage, because then it doesn't matter how much money you make, you'll never see all of it. It's like if you become, let's say, if you get divorced and you have to pay off a percentage, and then you become a millionaire. It's like, well, you're half a million.
I think whatever value was generated after the marriage occurred should be split 50-50.
No.
At the end of the marriage, yeah, because you're a partnership. You each have
You
different
were a
rules and,
partnership.
and
You're saying
regulations.
during. I just want to make sure because you weirded that a little strange. You're talking about while the marriage.
While the
in
marriage
effect.
is in effect. So let me finish here.
So anything before or
Well,
after?
let me finish
No.
what I'm fucking saying.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So during the marriage, whatever the partnership makes, the partnership should split 50-50 at the end. Despite like there may be extreme circumstances in certain things, but for the most part, I think that's pretty reasonable. However, I don't think alimony should last more than 4 years. Whatever the percentage that the alimony gets paid, and that shouldn't be 50% of the wage. That should be charged at a flat rate per month. It should be enough that the person, depending on what the guy can afford, of course. You know, within like a reason of what he can actually, like if the dude's making minimum, like he's in the lower class making $30,000 a year, he can't pay her like $1,000 a month in alimony. That's just not reasonable, and nor should she expect it.
So the reason why the percentage is a terrible idea is because depending on the amount of money that you make, and depending on how you run yourself, like let's say you run a business, and that money that you make has to go towards paying off your debts to the business, the repairs and all that kind of stuff, and employees. Should a percentage get taken off of that, you are unable to keep your business running. Half the guys who have businesses after get divorced have to close down some of their businesses or make a substantial more amount of money to cover the losses he's going to undergo. It doesn't work. It can't work. And
that would be part of the reason why it would make men less inclined to get divorced as well.
Well,
is
okay,
that potential risk of breaking that partnership up. But they do the business stuff. She takes care of the household stuff. This is how the partnership has gone on for centuries. That's the point.
Okay, but the percentage thing is new, and it's devastating towards families. It doesn't work. That's what I'm getting at. Especially considering that it's not like when a guy accumulates a fortune as best he can by starting a business and stuff. Once you give a percentage of that, that doesn't just take taken away from him. It's taken away from everyone else he employs. It hurts businesses. It hurts people, and it's not just the guy you're hurting. It's everyone else that works for him as well. It doesn't work. It can't work. It hurts lives, and then he'll have to incur loss. He's gonna have to fire people. People are else going to get there. This is like how can you start a business and then get divorced, especially if you have a no fault divorce. At any moment, you can come home and find out that you're no longer together. It's devastating, and not only that, it's like it hurts more people in the long run. It always has. There's evidence beyond evidence of this happening, and there's a reason why there's a men's rights group, because it's not just like. It could be like I said, your employees and stuff. It's devastating. You can't do a percentage. It doesn't work.
Okay, so what if you take and you look at a percentage of the liquid assets, and then you would look at any other assets based on percentage of time like involved with it. Like, so if the guy basically, if you have your typical upper class where the guy does like most of the work and everything, and the wife is like a housewife kind of thing, he might be the one that ends up with all of the business kind of thing.
Well,
but I do think there needs to be a substantially close to even split, because you were a partnership. That's kind of the point of a marriage. Marriage is two people becoming one entity. That is the whole fucking concept. Mm-hmm. It's team us against the world now because we got this thing going.
If we were arguing about, like, let's say, odds and ends, like splitting pots and pans and all that kind of stuff, that's fine. But then it doesn't stop there. Like if let's say you have a business, and let's say part of your business is your truck. Well, 50-50 means she gets half of that. In order for that to work out, he has to sell the truck. Your business is done.
Okay, was the business started before they got married or after they got married?
Well, there again, that's part of the problem with divorces, is because they will. That could be argued, and it might happen.
You know, she's doing the domestic stuff. This gives him the free time to put into the business. She's taking care of the kids. This is the balance of the work. You know, so
it doesn't matter if it's 50-50. It doesn't matter.
He gets equal custody for the kids. Why would she not get equal custody of the value they generated during the marriage?
Okay, and how's she gonna get that value? Probably you'd have to sell it, wouldn't you?
You can have two people own a business even if they're not married. They could still both own
Yeah,
it.
sure, but she has no qualifications for that. On top of that, she wouldn't know what to do with it in the first place. The only thing
It doesn't.
you can do is sell it.
Still half the value is hers. It's like maybe somebody's kid has no qualifications or idea how to run a business. They still inherit it when their parent dies.
Well, if
It doesn't just be like, oh, you know what? Sorry, your son Carl does not run a business, so the state's just going to take it. I mean, what do you want?
Well, sometimes that happens. It depends on what the business is. But like, if you're an independent person and your business is like you have a logging business and you log trees over, and how
I don't know how it works in Canada, but in the U.S. they would be required to compensate the person for the business. So I can see if he wants to sell his other liquid assets and maintain 100% company of ownership of the company in order to make even split there, that's fine.
Well, maybe it could. You don't know, but there's no guarantee on that because
but most people don't own businesses. Most people just work two jobs. So
sure, but like
this is an extreme minority of cases. You realize, right?
Business owners are not an extreme minority. There are plenty of business owners out there. What I'm getting, and a lot of them are small time business owners. And when a divorce occurs, it's devastating for a business. Which is why marriage is such a risky thing for men in particular. Because they'll lose half of what they have, which means that they'll have to shut down their business unless they can find some other way of accumulating work or something to make it work back. But most guys don't bounce back from a divorce. That's how devastating it is. That's why no-fault divorce is so devastating. It's something it's not sustainable is what I'm getting at.
So there are 33 million small businesses in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, 331 million. So that's less than 10%. That's a minority.
And I think some of them were minorities, I guess, mostly because of the pandemic.
Well, I'm just saying that's still a minority of the people when it comes to small business owners.
I don't know. It depends. We're splitting hairs.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't have some sort of exigent circumstances to maintain, like, things for society's sake. I get where you're coming from, but you have to have some sort of compensation that's equal for both the people involved in the partnership.
Well, the thing is
or they have to have a contract prior to being married that makes that null and agrees to different changes or whatever, like however you want to do it.
You mean like a prenup?
Prenuptial, yeah, like that kind of thing. But those should actually get upheld because right now we know that it's basically you wipe your ass with that in some states.
Yeah. A lot of them tend to just sort of go away.
Or you're Kanye West and you're fucking stupid and you don't get one, even though you sing the fucking penultimate song about getting one. Yeah.
I mean, just because you know something doesn't mean you actually implement it.
Did you hear about his school?
The Kanye West school?
He had a religious school that he ran.
He started. I didn't know about that.
Oh, y'all didn't know? Okay. Yeah, so he's being sued because, as it turns out, Kanye West didn't feel like the school needed to live up to any sort of educational standards required by law. So those all went out the door, and when the teachers complained, he would fire them or harass them, which definitely is not illegal, totally. The students only got one meal a day, and it was sushi. That's a little abusive. I'm assuming it's a boarding school, or else the one meal a day would be irrelevant. Like it's a religious boarding school where they go and live there, so like they're only getting one meal a day and it's sushi, which is fucking weird. Yeah, he's gonna lose. I don't know if he has much money left, but whatever he does is probably gonna get. He's gonna be fucking MC Hammer poor in a couple of days, or weeks, or years, or however long it takes to go through the process.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking of. The amounts for like child support and food allowances after like the rich people get divorced.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, I was wondering, dude. Because, yeah, I was like, all right, I get that dude makes a lot of money, but does he really need 20 grand per kid? Does she really need 20 grand per kid a month and then 10 grand a month for a fucking food allowance?
Yeah, I think when you're looking at divorce, whether or not both people want it or just one person wants it or whatever, The concept that really needs to be removed from the whole process is the expectation of continuing that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you get divorced, both of your lifestyles will change. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there should not be an... I don't agree with the... Oh, my... I mean, I understand Samaja's issue, but I don't agree with the whole, like... after the marriage is over, continuing to split the incomes 50-50 kind of weird shit like that. I don't agree with that. That should be a flat rate of, like, this is how much it costs, and... You know, these are the reasonable prices or whatever to raise a kid and house and all that stuff. So this is how much you pay.
Yeah, that seems like there should be a fucking cap on that kind of shit.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because, like, if you're like, no, well, the kid should still be entitled to that. I'm like, well, let him fucking take the kids then. Or, well, whoever. It's generally going to be him. But, you know, let the breadwinner keep custody of the kids then if you're that concerned about maintaining that level of fucking income and shit.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? One way they could do the business thing that would actually make sense, because I maintain the 50% of what they earned during the marriage together, regardless of which one did what work. I do think what you could do is say, whoever runs the business, because it may not necessarily be the man in every case, whoever runs the business still maintains full ownership and or still maintains the right to run the business as if they have full ownership. They just have to pay half the value of the business at the time of the divorce back over a period of however many years is reasonable out of the profits.
Yeah, that's
so instead
of
shutting it down or putting somebody who might not have any fucking idea of what they're doing in charge. You would say, like, all right, well, she's still entitled to half the value that the business has, but you have 10 years to pay it back out of the profits each year.
Yeah, because that person shouldn't suddenly have 50% say.
Yeah, but they don't get to run the business. They don't get to make any sort of business decisions or sell it to anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's non-transferable. Like they can't sell it. It just, maybe the kids can inherit it, but that would just normally happen without that. But I'm just saying, like, the wife can't, or the husband or whatever can't sell that out of rage to some other company, or like the fucking competition.
Well, they do. I actually always find those stories funny and hilarious. So what happens is that what some guys will do is that they'll just sell off their business or whatever else, and then give them half of that, just because they don't want to keep generating money. Because after the divorce, you can start up a whole new business.
Yeah.
So like that's one of their workarounds that they can do, because it's like but sometimes the judge will say, well, we know what you're doing. You're trying to work around the judgment there, so then they might be pernicious and just sort of say, doesn't matter. You have to pay this off again, or we have to pay extra alimony or something to try and get back at you. The other thing I enjoy hearing about, because these are all true stories, but when the guy, let's say the guy has like an equipment business and he's getting divorced and he has to give up all this money. What he did is he sold it all off, but the next day the guy is going to come over to buy the equipment. So what does he do with the equipment while he still has it for the night? He goes to his house and he bulldozes half the house, destroys half the house, and then tells us, well, she gets half the house, and that's all he left standing. And I remember seeing this and like, oh shit, that is, So,
do you guys remember Hulk Hogan to pull off when he knew the divorce was going to happen, sells off all his fucking business ventures and shit to his friend, I think it was Buff Bagwell or whoever, for $1.
Yep.
And then obviously gets it back, when he can, after the divorce is final or whatever.
Yeah, once it's no longer illegal for him to take possession, or she can no longer go after him for it. Because I depending on the state, some of the laws are so bad that like you could make money like 10 years later, like really good money, and then she can go after it.
Yeah.
Even though you've been divorced for 10 years, like that shit happens.
Yeah,
That
that's
shit's
fucking
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume he was. I don't know. Is he in Florida or California? I can't remember. If yeah, I think he was actually in California and managed to get away with that. Maybe it was Florida though. I forget where he lives, where they live.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably Florida, I would guess. I can't imagine California would allow that to fucking go. Allow that to
If
fly.
you
But
legally transferred ownership, you can sell for whatever you want to sell. That's up to you.
yeah, I wonder if he had to give her 50 cents.
Yeah. Now, be warned. I mean, it's going to come down in that kind of case, though. Honestly, I would think in most cases, he just had a really, really better lawyer, like a way better lawyer, and that's how he got away with keeping all that shit. Because in a lot of cases, if the woman's got a decent attorney or whoever, they can go after and take a lot of that stuff anyway. They can be like, yeah, we know you sold it temporarily to your best friend so you can, save your money. We're taking it from him and we're going to give it to her. Like, they can do that shit. And it just depends on the state and but mostly how good each lawyer is. Because there's been people who've been like, sold my Ferrari for $1 2 days ago, or, like that kind of stuff. Or like what Samaj was saying, like the guy that like bulldozed half the house. I'm sure they went after him for a lot of fucking money that he owes, like, over the next fucking several years. Like, I'm sure it was satisfying, but I guarantee he came out way worse off from that than if he'd left the house in one piece.
Right.
Financially speaking.
It's a
Morally
story,
and whether he feels like satisfied, that's a whole different story. I don't know I don't know the whole situation. I don't know how reasonable that was or not reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I would imagine it was incredibly contentious, so he probably figured, or he just did something really rash and stupid, or he was like, yeah, worth whatever that fucking cost. That was suck.
Or he got, fucking taken advantage of and she fucking deserved it. I don't know. It could be any of it.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of, have any of you guys ever seen War of the Roses?
I heard of it.
The movie about the divorce thing.
Yeah.
I think it's the War of the Roses.
80s, right?
Yeah, it's like an 80s movie about two people that get divorced and eventually I think they kill each other or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like a crazy. It's Michael Douglas and I think Kathleen Richards.
Kathleen Turner, maybe.
Kathleen Turner, that's the one I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah.
And those two.
It being a very
it's they blow the fucking roof off of that with the acting, like the insane over the top anger acting.
Yeah.
Like at one point she's having a dinner party and he walks in and he says, I see you're having a party with your guests. I am going to go piss all over the fish. And then the next thing you see is him standing in front of the fucking open oven with steam coming up as he's just liberally pissing all over the fish for her dinner party. Because she's like a caterer, restaurateur, that's her job, and he does. And they go, it's fucking crazy. I don't remember if they end up killing each other at the end or if that's the movie it's based off of that they made. They killed each other at the end. I do know that the War of the Roses was a real war in, like, the Middle Ages or some shit like that, though.
Yeah, like in Europe or somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought when you said that. I'm like, really? Okay.
Was it the War of the Roses? The Battle of the Roses?
I think it actually was called the War of the Roses.
There's a Yu-Gi-Oh game called...
I mean, again, there was the thing that happened in whatever time in Europe or whatever, the war or whatever, but... I'm pretty sure that was the actual name.
Yeah, it is the War of the Roses, 1989. Michael Douglas, not Kirk Douglas. I got that backwards. And Kathleen Turner.
You said Michael Douglas.
I did say Michael Douglas? Oh, okay, then good. Good for me.
No, it was the Kathleen Richards is the one. Or Kathleen instead of Kathleen Turner.
Oh, no, never mind. They end up together at the end.
Oh.
Wait.
He ain't sure that much. They end up loving each other.
Wait, no. They do end up dying at the end.
No. But
Oh,
there
so
it
this
again.
I got it wrong. So the movie starts with Gavin telling his clients this story, where the two people, Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, get divorced and end up dying at the end together.
Okay.
And then at the end, he tells his client, he's finishes telling his clients this story, and they're because they're getting divorced as well or something. And so I guess he's a lawyer or a therapist or somebody involved with that. And he tells them, like, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go War of the Roses, like this crazy thing I told you guys, or do you want to fucking make up and fucking go home and stay together and figure out how to fucking live happy together? And the couple he's telling go home together.
All right.
Danny DeVito is the guy who plays that guy, by the way. He's telling him the fucking story.
Nice.
God damn. But the pissing on the fish scene is so amazing.
That sounds hilarious.
Just pissing on, yeah. At first I was thinking you meant like in an aquarium, but then like, oh, in the oven. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. Did he only piss on 50% of the fish?
No, he was very liberally pissing all over that fish. It's like, if you'll excuse me, I am going to go piss all over the fish. Like, God damn, dude. Oh, brutal shit. And on that cheerful note, I'd say it's about time for us to call it a day. Now that we've solved the ills of the world.
I got through without talking about my grandpuppy, so we should probably call it before I bring it up again.
Son of a bitch, you ruined it.
It's almost there. But yeah, no, if anybody stuck around, and you didn't, so just bye-bye.